Bishop Barron said that salvation can be found through other religions outside the church, and not even outside of like Christianity.
Yeah, but that comes from Vatican II.
Right.
Like all that teaching is all from Vatican II. It's not, like none of it. Like anyone before Vatican II had no. Like it was all black and white. Like nah, salvation outside the church is just not possible.
So do you hold truth by like that belief, or do you
my true like conviction on this is that I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I believe that within the church there's salvation, but from outside all I could do is hope.
But then these people, their conscience was formed to be a Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I feel like as humans we're always called to follow our conscience. And to them, like being a Catholic is like going against their conscience, obviously.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think when God evaluates that kind of scenario, there's obviously like Bishop Barron talks about this, but there's some level of like varying degrees of goodness in all different religions, and like if we're saying that like God is good, like God is the ultimate source of goodness,
then
like ultimately some of these people are choosing God through like lesser degrees, obviously, of God, but they're choosing God in a way by following their conscience.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
It's kind of like relativism. You're following your conscience. It's cool, man. Like you don't have to become a Catholic.
Right.
Like I don't think that's just.
Right.
The truth is supposed to come to the top, the cream of the crop, right? But if you just go around the world telling everybody that, hey, you know, you're whatever you believe, that's good, man.
Yeah.
Sure. If you as a Catholic had convictions and knew how to speak on your faith in a respectful way, I don't think it's necessary to be mean, but I think it is necessary to be convicted in your faith and accept that someone else is going to be convicted in it as well. If you could be saved outside of the Catholic Church, then like, why are you Catholic?
Yeah, like why do you need to be Catholic?
Yeah, why do you do all this stuff? Why do you partake in the sacraments?
Yeah, that's a tough question.
Jack Doe.
What's up, man? Happy to be back.
What's going on, man? How has the life of a catechist been?
The life of a catechist.
Jump
right into it.
Yeah, right into it, man.
Yeah.
First, like when did you start teaching? What is a catechist? When did you start teaching?
So like officially I started after high school, actually, because my church back at home, like we have this program called like the Vietnamese Eucharistic Youth Movement. And essentially like the way I would describe it is we have a bunch of like kids who are involved in it. And and it's run by like a bunch of group leaders or youth leaders, I would say, like at a specific church. And like you can open up a chapter, so to speak, like at your local like Vietnamese parish, I would say, where there's like a Vietnamese community. And pretty much when you open up a chapter, like you're subscribed to like the full like Vietnamese Eucharistic Youth Movement like across the world. And we just have like certain Vietnamese Catholic things that are involved in like the type of ministry that we do. So it's mainly like to summarize it, like it's mainly like a youth group that's led by like youth leaders instead of like, think like 20 to like 35-year-old people who are like relatively young on the younger side, but are like leading and like walking with these kids in their faith. So it's not like we're like specifically like teaching them like in a classroom setting, but like we're walking with them in their faith in terms of like, oh, we could, you know, instead of like teaching them about like this concept, we could make a game out of it. And the game is like, you're like 90% of the game is like the kids are gonna be focused on the activity, but like that 10%, which is like the 10% that we hope that the kids get out of it, is like the 10% that like we hope that like they actually like can apply this lesson and use the game as almost like a metaphor, like, or like a, like, yeah, like, almost like a metaphor for like how they should, I guess, like live out their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have like a bunch of activities. We do like camps where they would go overnight, and we'd have a bunch of things that are incorporated. But the main goal is to like spread this like religious vigor amongst the youth, but also like creating within themselves like a sense of community.
Hmm.
Um, so I was really involved in that aspect of my church, but then
So a catechist is just you became a catechist after high school
yeah.
through what? Like who told you like, hey, you should come teach what you know?
So that was like that. I wouldn't say like that was my start of like the catechist journey. Like I was involved in like after high school, I started like going to trainings and yeah, like I just started going to trainings to become a youth leader.
Uh huh.
But then after like 2 or 3 years,
How did you find out about these trainings, or did
um,
someone sign up for
yeah.
you?
So
Or?
it was sorry. So let me back up. So like this Eucharist youth movement thing, like I was involved in it since I was a kid.
Mm.
And then in the natural progression of like, oh, you graduate high school, like the natural progression is like, do you want to come back and be a youth leader? You know, like you either like you hit the end of the road, like you either stop, like you quit going, or like you go into training to like be a youth leader. You know, so I just like kept going. I went into training and became a youth leader, and then after about a year, I started like becoming a youth leader in these classrooms with these kids, and like mainly I'm just like creating games and like connecting ideas to the Bible and like making activities that the kids would like could use to like connect themselves with the Bible or connect themselves with like their community, which is like team building games and things like that. But then like if you want to talk about like actual like real catechism, like I started training for that like a year or two after I became like a youth leader.
So when you're like 20-ish years old or something?
Yeah, around there. It was around COVID time. It
Oh,
was like
okay.
2020 when I remember I did some online trainings and got my certification
Uh huh.
through like online like Zoom classes. But
Through the diocese or through the
yeah, it was
Eucharistic?
through the Archdiocese of Atlanta that I got my certification for. But yeah, like I don't know. I think like the youth nowadays, man, like I really genuinely feel like and like me going through it as well. I genuinely feel like the youth get more out of their religion whenever they're seeing like an older almost like an older sibling or like an older friend, you know, journeying with them through it
Mm-hmm.
rather than um getting a lot out of it in terms of like being in a classroom and like being told all these different rules and all these different things that they have to follow by like a someone that has like a generation gap, like a
Mm-hmm.
generational gap. Like I think evangelization amongst the youth is much more effective when the youth actually feel like, you know, there's like an older brother or sister walking with them
Mm-hmm.
rather than like an older parent yelling at them like, hey, you got to go to mass. It's Sunday.
Yeah.
Or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like instead of like telling them what to do, like, dude, let me just show them. Let me like walk with, like, let me go with them to mass
Yeah.
and let me like show them like that you can still like do all these youthful things, but
Mm-hmm.
also be like a good Christian, you know?
Yeah. Now, I remember my little brother would always ask me questions at me. I didn't know anything, but
Yeah.
he would ask me questions. He wouldn't ask my parents questions. And anytime I would do something like when I would pray, he would ask me like, like,
Hmm.
what are you saying, or what's the point of that? Or
Yeah.
and I didn't really know what the answer was. I was just like, oh, you're talking to God, and you're just saying thank you, and if you're struggling with something, let him know, and
Right.
stuff like that. But I never really got too deep into it. But he was always asking me. He would like I was his like. Oh, how would you describe it? Like he wanted to get the knowledge from me for
Yeah,
some reason,
for sure.
and well, now I hope now that I'm actually like interested in all this stuff, I have more to say, but now I just don't we just don't talk about it too much, or
Hmm.
he doesn't have those questions for me anymore. But yeah, like I told you, I don't know if I told you, but when I took him to the traditional Latin mass for the first time, like he was a little spooked.
Hmm.
He was like, "Yeah, no, this seems very cultish.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't seem." What he is used to Catholicism, which is the Novus Ordo, like
Yeah.
That's the main thing, and any deviation away from it, it just seems like sacrilegious a little bit, which is a huge culture shock. I would say. Yeah.
Dude, but I feel like genuinely like an answer, like if you were to answer your brother's question and it's coming from like you on like a brother to brother level, like it would be much more meaningful than like him getting an answer from like a
A
priest.
catechist.
Yeah, catechist, or like
Yeah.
your parents, maybe they have like a more textbook answer.
Yeah.
You know, and like that's I don't always think that the textbook answer in terms of like religious stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I don't, and like journeying with someone, I don't always think the textbook answer is like the it might be it's like the best answer, but like it's not like maybe the answer that we should be giving at all times. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like.
Do you ever show videos?
Yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure. We always choose video, but like the videos that we chose are like very, they explain things very much more simply, and like you're able to break down concepts on a
Mm-hmm.
more like you're able to actually like meet them where they're at, kind of deal.
Yeah. How much stock do you put into teaching kids the whole story of what the Bible's trying to show or to tell?
Dude, I think that like pretty much varies because in terms of like, cause like there's two aspects to it that I could talk about. Like the first aspect is like the whole like youth leader part. And the second aspect is like the whole actual like being a catechist teacher part. But I think a lot of what we teach in terms of like the catechism side is all just based off of like the curriculum that like
You get handed.
that someone gets handed to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they would pretty much like break down like, hey, like this year we're gonna be focusing on like these broad topics, and then like and then like like that's something that probably the diocese would make for like, let's say like a fourth grade class,
Yeah.
and then the principal teacher or like the whoever at the local diocese like makes the curriculum, and that could even be like on the grade on the teacher level as well. Like they decide what like resources to use. Actually, the diocese will also provide like resources that the catechist teachers could refer to
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like these are the textbooks that we would hand out, and
Yeah.
then based off of that, like that's how we would build like a curriculum of like what we teach on a week to week basis.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
all just based off of like content that's derived from the diocese's discretion.
And how do they verify that that's what you're teaching?
See, like that's the verification is like it's they don't like they don't send. It's not like they send like a representative to audit or anything. Like
Yeah, there's no tests at the end of the semester or something like
there's
that.
no standardized tests.
Yeah.
The tests are made like locally based off of like what the teachers
Yeah.
have taught that year.
Cause I hear, and I guess my assumption has always been that in the Catholic Church there has, well, at least here in North America, the youth aren't catechized fully, like if at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like usually the first people that are supposed to teach you this stuff are your parents, your godparents, but now I feel like even godparents are really they're not really viewed for what their role really is.
Mm-hmm.
And just church overall, like the catechism at churches, it doesn't seem like it really answers a lot of the youth questions growing up. It's more of a, no, you just gotta memorize this, or this is how it is, and that's just that. Like there's no reason behind it. That's just like what the church teaches, and that's what you believe. And it was always, it felt very, well, at least from my experience, it felt very rigid. But and then the other problem I see is well, that I've seen is that there's a lot of, like, from experience and from like what I've heard now that I'm looking into all this stuff, is that a lot of the catechists, it doesn't seem like they really believe in what they're teaching.
Mm-hmm.
It just they're just there for, like, who knows, but
Yeah.
yeah, they're just it doesn't seem like they're very knowledgeable of what it is that they are teaching.
Yeah.
It's like if we do the analogy to manufacturers, like, so a robot, a Fanic robot teacher who's never touched a robot before.
Yeah.
They're just going off of what the book says. Like, all right, class, today we're going. Okay, so there's There's 6 different axes if you look at your book. Oh, teacher, why are there 6? I don't know. That's what the book says.
It's like just like WXYZ and then AB, like those,
Yeah.
like something stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
man. I feel like
But I think that's not necessarily so. I also think that's more of like our fault, because I think if you're a Catholic, you shouldn't go to, like, Sundays aren't the difference. One of the differences between Protestantism and Catholics is that when you're a Protestant, you go to Sunday church, or like Sunday worship. They don't call it mass. It's the Sunday worship to get a sermon from the pastor,
mhm,
to get like some scripture, and like you try to explain some of the stuff. There's not this whole ritual type thing that we do.
mhm,
And so during mass we don't get a whole lot of that information directly from the priest. So what I've come to realize that's kind of on us to be able to make groups and actually talk about this outside of church, or maybe even the church can allow us to use like the parish hall or something to have little classes here and there, people that actually study this stuff and are really interested in it. Because that's when class is fun, when you know the teacher is like super into it,
yeah,
into like what they're teaching, and all this stuff, and also the curriculum that it has to be rigid, that no, we can only teach this year, or hey, politically, let's not talk about abortion because that's a heavy subject and kids should only
yeah,
talk about with their parents and stuff like that. Like, I think I I don't know. I think that's wrong. Like, I think like we should be very, very like these are all foundational concepts that we should all know
yeah,
growing up. What the difference is between a man and a woman.
yeah,
Like it shouldn't be obfuscated. It shouldn't be confusing going into your teenage years and then realizing that you're in a classroom with some boy that thinks he's a girl, and now you're all confused. Like, what?
yeah.
Wait, what? What's going on?
Dude,
Yeah.
I think, dude, there's so much that you said that I wanted to touch on, but I think having a rigid structure in a way is, I don't know. I think it's good because then the archdiocese decides, like, because like if I'm being honest, like I didn't really get into like the hardcore, like come to like a true understanding of like the bigger picture of everything until like even after like confirmation, like even when I was in like 12th grade, and like even when I was still like learning to be like a youth leader, like I was still like in the process of like fully learning and wanting to like like having that desire to like explore. But like I genuinely think that the archdiocese is in kind of like a tough situation because it's like you have all these like very complex like these complex dogmas and these complex theologies that you need to get across to these kids. And you know, these kids are enrolled to start learning when they're 5. You know, it's like there's no way I can teach them that like Jesus died for our sins when they're 5.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like they cannot wrap their head around that. Maybe even like a 4th grader when they receive communion, like they're not gonna wrap their head around
Yeah.
that like completely fully. But like that doesn't, in my opinion, like that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't mean that like we shouldn't like have them in class because like they're enrolled and they're like there to
Yeah.
learn. You know
And
what I
that
mean?
goes back to you talking about like it should be like a gamified
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
type thing. Make it fun for the kids. Like
Ex-
it's a
exactly.
yeah.
So that's why at our local Vietnamese parish here in Austin and at like my parish back in Atlanta, we would always have like an hour of like catechism and then like an hour of like community activities led by like the youth leader.
Mm-hmm.
And like our youth leader would be like a college age student or like someone in their late 20s or like early 30s that would like come up with like a game, you know, and like it could be a very simple like game, but like if you're introducing these like concepts to these kids at a very young age, like they're more than likely to like pick up on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like also with that, like it gives the Holy Spirit more opportunity to like expose like the truth and reveal like who God, like what the truth is, like through these activities and through these games.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I definitely think it's tough. Like, how do we teach these very complex subjects to like these kids? And also like another thing that you mentioned was like all these kids like have all these questions that they need answered, and like we don't really feel like the catechism or like the catechist programs like really answer that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in my personal opinion, I think when these kids reach a certain age, and I taught eighth grade this year, so I kind of recognize like a little bit of it. But these kids do have these questions. They're just like very like closeted with them. Like they're afraid to like they're really afraid to ask them
Yeah.
in like a classroom setting. But if you pull
But
them,
why do you think they're afraid? Is it more of a they don't want to embarrass themselves in front of the kids, or they don't think it's appropriate to ask that type of question in a religious setting?
yeah. So we brought up these topics actually, like abortion and all these like heavy hitters up in the. It was actually in our curriculum this year, um, for our eighth graders, and like, they're like 13, 14 years old, you know. So they actually had a lot of these questions, but a lot of them were like really ashamed. Like one, ashamed to ask. Two, also like they're just like kind of embarrassed because like their friends are like, oh, like is this guy asking this question about himself? Like you know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then three, like I don't, some of them are not really like it's hard to get them interested and bought in for like if you only have an hour to work with them every week.
Mm-hmm.
But like I've seen, dude, it's crazy. I've seen it a stark difference between a lot of these kids when like you actually like take them out of their comfort and you bring them to like a retreat environment.
Yeah.
You're like, hey man, like you're here for the whole weekend. Like you're not sleeping in your own bed. We're giving you the food that you need. I'm taking your phone for the whole weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Like let's dive deep into like our relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
And like in those environments, dude, like they're not afraid to ask.
Oh.
Like they actually like come out and like they actually like have these meaningful questions that they want to ask.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually try to like look for these answers that they've always been like yearning for.
Mm-hmm.
But it's tough to get to that point because you only have an hour with them every week and they see your class as like a, oh, how do I get by with like an A, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like how do I pass this class and move on to the next one
Yeah.
rather than like, cause like I'll ask them, like I'll give them time. I'll be like, guys, like you guys have any anonymous questions, like feel free to come up after class or like submit answers. And like I pass around like a box and they can submit answers to questions that they want asked. But it's always just like, oh, I don't really care to ask any more questions. For some of them, like I don't really care to ask them any more questions because like it's not gonna be in the test.
Yeah.
Like this in-depth question that I'm about to ask. Like it's not, I know it's not gonna be in the test. But so a lot of them have like or some of them have like that mindset as well.
Yeah.
But I genuinely do think that a lot of them do have like these like deep questions that they want to ask. It's just like we need to get them to that point where like they're they're trying to investigate for themselves like what the truth is.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what I did when I was in like my confirmation era, and then like after like when I started being a youth leader or like trying to be a youth leader and like doing all the trainings, like that's when I really like dove deep into it. But yeah, I think, dude, also like some of the activities that we did were like super cool. Like we would have like these journey of faiths that we would call it,
Mm-hmm.
and like everything is like they're all kids. Like so we would make it like really competitive. Like we split kids up into like teams of like 10, and like we'd have like youth leaders like spread across like the whole campsite, and they would do like each person would do like a station, and we'd have like a theme. Like oh, like one of them was like the story of Exodus, and so each station would be like a different like part of Exodus, and these youth leaders will all be like in character, and they would like force you to be in character as well. So like you'd be like the Israelites, like moving around, navigating through like Exodus, like the story of Exodus, for example. And yeah, like we would just have like we would set it up where it's like you're almost moving role playing, but like moving through like this journey as like with like the Israelites. And like every youth leader was like in character, and like every station they would do like a certain like activity that would like help you have like a better understanding. And it was all competitive too. So the kids were like really involved in like trying to win and like trying to like be the best. Like another thing that we did was like like the Passion of Christ. Like we would do like a kind of like a Station of the Cross, and we'd end it off with like a more serious like reflection on it.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the kind of like activities or like things that we would do, and we try to like incorporate more
Yeah.
of activities into like their learning.
That just reminded me of. Have you ever heard of Angel Studios?
I have not.
Dude, Angel Studios is this. It's like this movie production company that is making movies and series just based on biblical stuff.
Mhm.
Like they came out with and not just biblical stuff, but like trying to address certain problems that are real problems that are happening in the world right now. Like, let's say child trafficking and stuff like that. They came out with a movie about that, and that was super heavy. But recently, they came out with this show called The Promised Land,
Mm-hmm.
and it's basically, from what I see, is that it's been the story of Exodus, but it's being told in a way that's comedic
Yeah.
in the format of The Office.
Uh-huh.
So it's like The Office, but telling you the story of the Promised Land, of the Israelites getting out of Egypt and being led by Moses, and him going up on Mount Sinai, and they would have these little like when Moses goes up to the camera, is like, yeah,
Oh, like do
I
like a
talked
side
to,
interview?
yeah. They do side interviews and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's been funny. I've seen a little. I'll send you some reels on Instagram. They have these reels on Instagram that are really funny. But yeah. So not to take away from the retreats that you guys would have, but how often are those retreats? Like, do you still have those?
Yeah, dude. So we'd have different things. Like we have camps, and camps are like all about activities and team building and all that. And then so that was like the youth leader side.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have retreats, which is more like the catechism side, where like we would invite for some of the retreats that I've been here in Austin, like we invited nuns,
Really?
like confirmation, for our confirmation classes,
Mm-hmm.
and they would lead like spiritual activities, and we would just be like, group leaders, or like, we would just like guide them through the activity and like, help facilitate that. So we'd have retreats like maybe once a year
Mm-hmm.
for the kids, and also camps probably around once a year as well. But we try to do a lot of those team building activities like on a weekly basis, just to like try and make things interesting, and because like kids that they love activities like, and like it could even be like a very like secular activity, and it
Mm-hmm.
would be okay. Like we would do like a cooking competition. It
Yeah.
has nothing to do with like religion at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you get the kids in an environment where like they're working together with their, fellow Catholic teammates, and they're being guided by like, youth leaders, then, I think like part of it, like faith building, is also like not only your relationship with God, but like
Yeah.
your community as well.
Do you ever talk about like why they're Catholic?
Um, that's definitely something that came up, but not in a classroom setting, but like in a retreat setting, for
Mm-hmm.
sure. We would ask them, like, and like some of them are not even like, when you get them in like this retreat setting, a lot of them like still very shy.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't even like, we would have an activity where it's like not even like a verbal activity. Like, I don't know, this one activity I thought was really cool, where we have like a line in the middle of like, we have like it's like a big room. It's like, and like kids are like on each side of the room. And then there's like a line in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the activity was just like, you step up the line if like the phrase like applies to you. And then like we would say a phrase like, oh, like I love my parents, and then like most of the kids would like walk up. But like you'd be able to see like some of the kids, like they're not walking up, and it's like, yo, that's kind of crazy. And then another one was to be like, like I I am a Catholic. Like I identify as like a Catholic believer.
Mm-hmm.
And like you'd see like most of the kids walk up, and like some of them like not walk up. Um, so they definitely have those questions. A lot of them are closeted, man. Like they're very shy when it comes to like getting into like the nitty gritty of it.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are like very, very like timid about sharing their internal thoughts and convictions. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of it might be indifference. Some of it might be like fear, like being judged. Oh, we try to create like an environment that's like a, like a no judgment free zone, but like it's very hard to get there
Mm-hmm.
in a weekend,
Yeah.
but yeah, I definitely do think the kids are wondering about a lot of things.
Yeah.
We just have to explain it to them in a way that makes sense to them,
Yeah.
and like is approachable, rather than like giving them the textbook answer. You know what I mean? Because like right now I'm at a stage where like I would like a textbook answer, but if I'm a kid wondering, I would more so want like a more approachable answer,
Uh-huh. Why do you think? Because it seems like the youth is, or our generation, or maybe a generation right below us, is that it seems like they're really on fire for this stuff now. But it doesn't seem like it's coming from they were really catechized well.
Yeah.
It seems like, I don't know, it seems that the Holy Spirit is at work, man. Like,
Yeah.
for some reason, there's a lot of people coming back to the cat. Not just so they're coming back and are converting into the Catholic faith. And I guess I've always had that question of like, why Catholicism? And from a secular mindset, like, how can you explain that to somebody? Like, why religion and not religion? Like, have you ever thought about that? Like, how can you convince an atheist that there is a God? And then once you get to the point where they accept that there is a God, why is it that becoming Catholic pleases God?
Yeah, dude. I think, like, if you want my personal opinion, I think it's very tough. Like, I don't think that you can approach converting a full atheist with just logic.
Well, I mean, you assume that the atheist became an atheist because they're like, it's just logical that there isn't a God.
Right. But wait, what was your question with that? Sorry.
It's like, I guess I threw a lot in there, huh?
Yeah.
First is like, what's up with the youth and being so on fire for Christ now? What do you think that's the case?
Dude, I think it was very similar to like what we talked about last time.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, dude, the world is so effed up right now, and everyone's looking for like a source of truth, like the source of like capital T truth.
Mm-hmm.
And the more they dig, the more they find like this is the truth. Because like, I don't know, if you start from like looking for like what's true, and you go date back all the way through like church history, and you see like how the Catholic religion was formed and everything like that. Like, I could see an argument for like people wanting conservative and traditional sources of truth rather than, you know, the mess that's going on in the world right now. But in terms of explaining and trying to evangelize an atheist,
yeah. So those are two different things that I just kind of mumbled into.
I feel like they're kind of linked, but like I feel like you have to come at it with like an approach of like, you always have to. With a religion, man, I always feel like you always have to meet the person where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you cannot give them always the textbook answer.
Yeah.
Like, maybe for a seminarian, like, yes, but like you have to meet them like where they're at, and hope and pray that the Holy Spirit, like, you know, nourishes and flourishes the seed that you planted. But I think in terms of like an atheist, man, like you're gonna get to that point where like you have that logical argument with them, but also I feel like it's a lot more effective to convince them through like your actions and like them following like you as like a model of your life, kind of thing.
Yeah, because there's the conversion, the intellectual conversion, but then there's also the conversion of the heart.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like I would approach it more on the conversion of the heart if I'm not able to break through like the logical arguments that they have.
Yeah.
You know, but I'd have to see like on a case by case basis, like what are the logical arguments that this person is having at the moment. You know?
Yeah.
But I guess from my perspective, I just think it can be kind of dangerous to live in a world where like you're an atheist, like for example, like living in a world where it seems like there's no purpose. And like I would always approach it as like, dude, like, why are you here then? Like, why are you on this earth?
Did you watch Busal's podcast?
I did not.
He had this line in there where he said, if you don't have hope, that means you have weak beliefs. Like, whatever your faith is, whatever your religion is, it's weak.
Yeah.
If you don't have hope.
I agree.
Yeah.
And if you have no religion, then you have no hope.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why are you here on this earth then, you know? And like, I would also hope, I don't know, not hope, but like, I would also think that like, I don't know, it's like a case by case, it's kind of hard. It's like a case by case basis. But like, I would also think that like, if you're an atheist, right? Like, you would get to this point where like, hopefully, like you'd recognize like in your life, like you're constantly trying to fill like a void that's like infinite. You know what I mean? Like I can go out and like I can try and have sex with like as many people as I want. That doesn't take away my desire to like have sex with people.
Yeah.
You know? And like I can go out and like I can have all this money. That does not but like we've always heard, man, like all these people they get rich and they're still like unhappy,
Yeah.
you know? And then from there it's like you start looking at like what are the sources of happiness? You start looking at people that are like, they're not as rich or they're not, diving into these worldly things, but they're like so immensely happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like Buddhist monks. They're
Yeah.
just like so immensely satisfied, happy with their lives. And like I would go down that path with them maybe and be like, yeah, like what is the reason why you're here on this earth then?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know my reason, but like what's your reason?
Mm-hmm.
You know? I think I would start there.
Yeah. Yeah. You have a foundation where the other doesn't. Or what would be the foundation of an atheist?
Dude, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know, man. Like I feel like it's just kind of like living day to day kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
they're like a homeless person, but like not physically homeless.
Yeah.
In terms
Also,
of
I
like,
think it's an uncomfortable subject to talk about religion
for sure.
for like different people. Like, well, the only reason we started talking about it is because you saw that book on my desk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if not, I would have no idea. No idea that you were Catholic.
No, and I remember one time I sat down with you and you had something pulled up like on your screen, and I was just like, I glanced at it. I didn't like mean to look at. I wasn't trying to be nosy or anything. It just like came up.
Yeah.
You were looking up like the Saint Michael prayer.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, this guy must be Catholic. Then I saw your book,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, he probably is Catholic. I kind of want to talk to him about that, about what he thinks.
Yeah. It seems like there's a lot of Catholics that are just either they're not practicing or just don't identify as Catholics.
Yeah.
But how do you identify as a Catholic then? Like because we could wear like a cross necklace or whatever, but that I mean, other than just talking about it once in a while, like if God wills, because that's what Mexicans say all the time. I remember as a kid, like my parents, my aunts, uncles is like, "Si lo mande Dios," if God wills, like that's the main thing I would always say. It's like, we'll see you this Saturday, if God wills.
Wait, what's the Mexican phrase again? I know Dios means God.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
If God wills, yeah.
C is if, right?
C
S-I?
C is yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, man. But,
no.
but how do I identify myself as a Catholic? Dude, I mean, that's a great question. I wouldn't say that I do much of it at work, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of want to now, though. Like I feel like it's kind of part of our duty. Is to be like upfront about it. Like, yeah, no, and I'm Catholic. I think you should be Catholic too.
No, but I also feel like, man, like kind of expressed on the last podcast, I feel like being Christian nowadays is kind of tough because when you're out there trying to like evangelize, everyone has this negative stigma about you, like, oh, this guy's just trying to shove his beliefs down my throat.
Yeah.
I always hated that. So I've always hoped that like through my actions, like the kindness that I give off or like the kind of person I am, that people would like start thinking about, like, oh, this guy's a really nice guy. And then like maybe look into that. Like, oh, why is he a really nice guy? And we have actually, and then like it's come up a couple times. When we have genuine conversations about it at work. They're like, they just ask me like very casual stuff, like, oh, like what'd you do this weekend? I was like, oh yeah, like I chilled at the house, like meal prep, like went to church, and I'll bring it. That's the way that I'll like slowly like bring it up. You know what I mean? And then hopefully they'll connect the dots in their mind. They'll be like, oh, he's a really nice guy. Like and it seems like he goes to church as well. And then like that's kind of like I'm never ashamed to like talk about like why I go to church.
Yeah.
And like what I did this weekend. Because like every time you answer that question, dude, I'm gonna say church. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like my very simple way of like, identifying as a Christian.
Yeah. I started saying mass instead of church because it usually provokes that next question of like, wait, what's mass?
What the heck is mass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say something while you were talking. Evangelizing. Yeah, no, I forgot. But I do remember on Ash Wednesday, I made it a point to go to the early morning mass.
What time was that mass, man?
Is it like at 6?
That's
6
early.
a.m. Yeah, at St. Mary's. cathedral,
Mm-hmm.
so that I could get the ashes on my forehead and then go to work with the ashes.
Yeah.
And then just like, dude, you got something in your head, dude. It's grease. What is that? What's going on? And it did happen. Like a lot of people were like, "Whoa, what's on your head?"
Dude, I feel like a lot of people would know by now. I would think.
You would think,
Yeah.
but they don't. Even the Catholics, like a lot of the Mexicans are Catholic, right? But they're like, "Oh, did you go to church? Did you go to church this morning? Was today the beginning of Lent?"
Yeah.
It kind of reminds them and starts that conversation of, "Oh yeah, like, well, what are you giving up for Lent?" Because the thing is, a lot of Protestants like Lent too.
Mm-hmm. But it's like you should ask them deeper. It's like, why you celebrate Lent, and then who told you to celebrate Lent? And then like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of crazy that like we Catholics define when Easter is and they follow it,
Mm-hmm.
even though they're in opposition to us.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't know. That's kind of funny to me. But also something that I wanted to mention was like, yeah, I do feel like a lot of I guess some of the people at work are also like Catholic,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know if they're like a lot of, and like, I want to say this in like a general term. Like, I feel like there's a lot of Catholics that like don't, like they say they're Catholic, but like they maybe like they drifted away or like they don't really like.
They're CEO Catholics.
Yeah, exactly. There's a
maybe
lot.
maybe not even CEO Catholics, because before I came back, I didn't even go to church on
Yeah.
Easter or Christmas unless my mom like made us go.
Uh-huh.
You know.
But when you were like, I guess like not really like a practicing Catholic, did you ever have any like kind of dissonance or like cognitive dissonance in terms of like when someone brought up like the idea of religion and God? Like, did it ever strike a feeling into you that they were like, oh, like a feeling of like guilt or something?
No, whenever it would ever come up, I'd just be like, I don't know. Like, I
Yeah.
genuinely don't know. I grew up Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
I I enjoyed being a Catholic when I was a kid because I remember feeling very spiritual. Like I remember going. My aunt was a nun, and I went to go visit her in Mexico, and I went to her little convent, and I had a prayer with her there, and I started crying in the middle of the prayer, but I finished it. Like that, those were formative experiences for me. But then when the whole pedophile stuff came out
Yeah.
and all that, then I just drifted away. And then after that, anytime it came up, I'd just be like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what. That was the main thing is I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't say that I'm an atheist. I don't know what religion is really. I don't know. And I'm okay with not knowing for now, I guess. It's like, yeah, no, I wasn't even on the Augustine train yet. Like, you know how St. Augustine's
Mm-hmm.
famous words is that God make me chase, just not yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are in that boat. They're
Hmm.
just like in the phase where like you bring up God, you're like, oh, I don't know, you know?
Yeah. I don't know, and I don't want to know right now. Like I'm having a good time right now. Like yeah, I'm cool with not going to church every Sunday. Like that's not priority for me. I'm cool with not knowing. I'm cool with the ignorance.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss,
Yeah,
dude.
exactly.
Dude, but if you don't mind me asking, like, how do you feel like your faith is like right now, like where you stand and like what you've learned and like all the experiences that you've gone through like recently? Like, where do you feel like you stand like right now in terms of like the Catholic religion?
I have real conviction on it now.
Mm-hmm.
Like before I was, like prodding it a little bit, like, oh, I'm trying to figure it out a little bit and here and there. But then I started listening to all these conversion stories of these others, like used to be Catholics and came back to the faith, or used to be Protestant and came to become Catholic, or used to be Mormon then came to be Catholic, and like hearing them describe like because they actually went through some real stuff. Like to become Catholic, they had to give up their entire community.
Yeah, dude,
They
Mormons.
yeah they that not only their community but their marriages would go into disarray. Like it would destroy like their whole lives. Especially if like let's say you were a pastor
Yeah,
at
yeah,
yeah, dude, I can't imagine like that the type of like social destruction that would cause to just for converting to a different faith. Where before I just never really thought about any kind of theistic or religious type stuff. But then seeing them willing to go through all that tribulation just to be able to take part in the Eucharist or to be confirmed Catholic and get baptized and all that, it made me think, all right, well, where does this conviction come from, and stuff like that. And then I started listening to them, and then started reading different books and understanding that how old the Catholic faith is. Like it's like almost ancient at this point.
Mhm.
It is ancient, and there's nothing out there like similar to it. I mean, other than Judaism. Judaism is even more ancient, but the thing, like, then you start asking those types of questions of like, okay, when did they start, and what is the co-relationship between Jews and Christians? Like, how did that happen? What yeah, then it just provoked a lot more questions.
Yeah.
And as I got more answers, then I was just so much more interested in it all. And then the realization of the existence of evil, like true evil, of like people that actually have the thought of doing an evil act, contemplating the evil act, planning the evil act, and then actually going through with the evil act. It made me think, like, how do you get to that place? And then I realized that, well, these people also have a belief in something, but their belief is demonic. And once I really realized that the evil is a real thing, demonic stuff is real, then it's like, all right, well, if evil's real, then I have to be on the good side. And how can I be on the good side? Everything that I'm reading is telling me that I'm on the right path.
Mhm.
So, and that's how I grew up. And not only that, but also my mom was a huge, she's always been such an anchor for like the whole family, like spiritually.
Yeah.
And even when I went away and stopped going to church, she would always ask me, like, not in a nagging, like, you're in trouble type of way. Like, it would almost kind of be like a joke. And like, did you go to church? And I'd be like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. But then there was this situation that happened recently where, like, she called me in a time of need, and like it was one of the first like real serious stuff that has happened in our family, like since I can remember. And I told her then and there that, like, well, listen, it seems like God waited to put this like serious situation in front of us until now that I'm coming back to the faith. And so like expressed that, like, I'm coming back, and I feel this fervor for this now, and like the realization of the truth of it. And she just like broke down and was like, oh, I'm so happy, or
Mhm.
stuff like that. And then I read about St. Augustine and his like conversion story, and how his mom was always super, super, super faithful all his life. And she would always pray that he'll come to
Yeah.
the Catholic faith. And then eventually, once he did, like, then he became one of the most like prolific
Dude, yeah.
intellectual saints of just all time. And so that was super inspirational. So yeah, now, to answer your question, I'm very convicted in my faith now. Like
Mhm.
I like, it gives me purpose. I feel so much more purpose now. Before,
Yeah.
going back to like thinking about work and like, oh, there's no more fulfillment or whatever. Like, I feel super fulfilled now.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to know that, oh, God exists. Oh, not only does God exist, there's like all this stuff to explain our relationship with God, and how beautiful it is. Like the art, like Michelangelo, and like the Virgin Mary and Jesus there. Like it I don't know. It gives you a different vibe, dude. It gives me a different like pep in my step every day. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like it's nice. It's nice. And even though there is a little friction here and there, like, oh, hey, I got to go to church, or I have to go to confession or whatever. And it's like, oh my gosh, why do you got to go? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
It's a it I don't know. Feeling some kind of foundation and conviction on your beliefs. It really helps you orientate your life
Yeah.
to whatever it is, that how you want to live, and stuff like that. And to me, I feel very like, I feel this weight has lifted off of me, knowing that I'm on a good path right now. Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
yeah. I I don't know. Hmm. I feel like through that, like you've had to go through a lot of like personal studies and things like that to come to this conclusion. But I don't know if a lot of other people are able to like
No, so I mean, I
definitely,
assume some. No, so I mean, I
definitely.
assume some people just have the pure conversion of the heart. It's just
Hmm.
like I had this experience, religious experience with like I felt Jesus here or something, and that's what did it for him.
Yeah.
But that I just see as like my whole life as being so blessed that it's like I have to give thanks
Hmm.
somehow to someone. It's like, how do I do that?
Dude, but also, I mean, lately to top off of like what you said, like lately I've been like trying to think about like ways that I can like, give myself back to God more, and I heard something on the podcast I was listening to. It was like God's greatest gift to human like one of God's greatest gifts to humanity was like free will.
Yeah, yeah.
And like what greater gift can we give back to God than our own free will, like again, like pretty much returning like what he gave us.
Hmm.
And it's like just thinking about that and piggybacking off of like what you said, like sometimes there's friction of like going to mass and like going to confession. And I'm just like, dude, like this is not I always think like this is not my will at the time.
Hmm.
To like I don't want to go to mass, wake up early and go to mass, but like sometimes I don't feel like I want to do that. But like I just think of it as like, man, like I've got this gift. Like this gift of free will and like I use it a lot,
Hmm.
like let me just give it back. And
Yeah.
then under the same coin, like that's how I approach like catechism and like going to the classes nowadays. Cause like, dude, sometimes I don't want to go. Like the kids don't listen to you. They just play on their phones. You're not sure if they get a lot out of it. They're probably not paying attention anyways. But I don't think of it as like, it's like, oh, how do I come to fulfill myself? I think of it as like, dude, I've got an hour of free time that I want to give back to God. And I know deep down, because like I've been around these catechist programs, man. Like I know the more like the older generation pushes to like have their agenda, and like the more that the older generation pushes to like have their people leading the classes. Like I've seen the way they lead the classes. Like, dude, it's very much like you said before, the way that you're catechized, very much like a textbook following,
Hmm.
like a ABC. This is what you do, and I'm trying to change that approach of like
Hmm.
approaching religion that way, and instead like meeting the kids where they're at. And so like I know, or I don't know, because like saying that would like seem like very prideful, but like I have my personal conviction that like I'm a source of good for the kids, because if I'm not there, then they're going to be like catechized by like someone that I don't think is as needed for them at the moment.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that the other person is not as qualified as me. Like that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that like, maybe they're not saying the words that I would use at that moment,
Hmm.
you know, and then in those situations.
I was thinking like catechism. I don't recall ever getting catechized on like why we do what we do at the mass.
Hmm.
Like why is there a procession coming in? Why is the priest in the back? Why are there certain amount of altar servers? Why does the priest like clean his like why do we have this like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
clean his hands before the offering? What it is that they're saying at the what do they call it, the pulpit or wherever they speak the gospel? Like
Oh,
what
dude,
is
I'm
the
not sure.
homily?
Yeah.
Um, what is the liturgy? Like why did we say this portion of the gospel on this day
Hmm.
and this coming Sunday? Why are we going to talk about that? Like why is that? Um, and then the words that the priest says at the offering, why does he say those specific words? Like what is going on with transubstantiation? Like how does that work? And why do Catholics are the only ones
Believe in that.
that have the true Eucharist? Like if we could just focus on like what the mass is, I think people would be more interested in the Mass. Like if you could get people to actually believe, truly believe in the Eucharist and that it is the true presence, I think that rocks a lot of people's worlds.
Yeah.
Like it's rocking my world. Like the confession is so important to me, just so I can be able to take part in communion. Before the state of grace, it's not even a concept in my mind. It's like, oh, I think I'm generally a good person, so
Yeah.
I'm fine. Yeah, but then you start reading the catechism, and then you start reading like what is a sin, what's a venial sin, what's a mortal sin. Like there's a difference between those two, and when you knowingly commit a mortal sin, it's necessary to go to confession, because if you go receive communion in a state of mortal sin, like that affects you negatively, like
Yeah.
spiritually. Which I think I mentioned this to you the other day when I called you randomly.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I did.
Yeah.
That
It's a random Friday.
Yeah, it was a random Friday that I learned that right before at the Last Supper, when Jesus said that one of them was going to betray him, John, like, or was it John or Peter, one of the two, went up to him and was like, "Hey, tell me who's betraying you?" I think it was Peter.
That would make
And
sense.
yeah, and then Jesus was like, the person that I give this moscule to or whatever, like what would eventually become the Eucharist. The first person that I give this to, that's the person that's going to betray me. And then they eventually see Jesus give Judas
Yeah.
the first one, and that in itself, since Judas had already conspired to go against Jesus, and he still received the Eucharist in that moment in a state of mortal sin. Receiving the Eucharist just basically opened the door for the devil to come in to Judas. And then immediately after that, Jesus was like, "Go do what you need to do, man." And but the thing that after he told Peter that, Peter had this reaction, was like, How is that possible? How could they? Like, I would kill
Right.
for you, Jesus. Like, I would do anything for you." And then Jesus was like, "Oh yeah, like, I mean, before the cock crows,
yeah.
like you're gonna
He was like, sure.
deny me 3 times."
He was
to
like,
you.
sure. He was like, sure, buddy.
Yeah, sure, buddy. Sure, buddy.
You're all talk.
We'll see about that. Yeah.
Dude, I heard something like, it someone said, like, in this podcast I was watching, he was like, it's actually very difficult to commit a mortal sin. That's what I
Yeah.
heard.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Well, I
like,
mean, it's a formula that, and like I think like 3
right,
things need to be.
right. But I think the part that really makes it difficult is the
Consent.
full consent of the will.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot of things, but like people are saying that, like, I mean, this is, I've kind of changed like my perspective on it recently, but like I've always thought that like it was relatively easy to commit mortal sins, and like I thought I was doing a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
But then I come to the realization that, like, man, like when I like start reviewing these scenarios, I'm like, man, like I don't think that I was under the full, like, consent of the will.
Mm-hmm.
And like the full consent is like a very, like, I guess, like I don't know it's really hard to judge
Yeah.
at the moment. But man, like I would even say, like, dude, because I'll admit it, like I've done it. Like I thought I was in a state of mortal sin and I still received communion.
Uh-huh.
Like I've done that before.
Yeah.
Not ashamed to like say it, but like, I mean, obviously I do go to confession for that and stuff like that. But when I'm up there, and I'm with my family and I haven't seen them in a while, and that pressure is clouding my will. I wouldn't say like that's fully like that's an argument that I would make. I don't know if God or anyone would accept the argument. But like what I'm trying to say is that, like, I don't think I could say like at that moment when I take communion, like that's 100% my will, because like I'm trying, like my parents are there. They're like, I don't want them to think something weird of me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want them to like, like come up with these assumptions. And so for that reason, because like then I'm like not receiving communion to like do it in like a sacrilege way, like Judas did.
Yeah.
I'm doing it because like, like partially maybe, but like partially also like I'm trying to avoid that social, or whatever you want to call it, that social like facade that I'm trying to put up.
Yeah.
Like I'm a perfect person.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I never really thought about that. That's a good point, because I do remember it was because like I said earlier, my mom was has been like our spiritual leader of
Yeah.
the family. And then one time I see her not go to communion, even though I'm going for communion. And then I don't know. In my mind, I was like, oh, like I wonder. I didn't say I wonder what she did, but it was like, oh wow, like she's refraining from doing something that she knows, like she hungers for, but she's like restraining herself from it for some specific reason.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay. So I guess in my mind, I was like, oh, I should probably take this mortal sin thing like seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. And seriously, in the sense that if I am in a state of moral sin, then all right, I'll refrain from partaking in the Eucharist. But yeah, I never thought about it in that way, in the social sense of like, oh, if my whole family's here and they're expecting me to partake in communion with them, and I'm the only one that gets left
Yeah.
behind, they're gonna think, what'd you do, son?
Yeah.
Why didn't you to partake?
Yeah.
And then, because at that point it's like I don't know if I really want to tell you why.
Right. Right.
Like that's like I'd rather just talk to the priest about that.
Uh-huh.
And then that's awkward because it's like, well, I'm your dad,
Mm-hmm.
I'm your brother. Like why won't you tell me what you did wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's super awkward. But yeah, what were we talking about?
No, sorry, we went on a tangent, man.
We did go on a
But
tangent.
also, I've heard addiction as well. Addiction
Mhm.
is a factor that lessens the weight of like a sin if that also clouds your will,
Mhm.
you know. So that's something that I guess I learned recently,
Yeah.
and I don't know, but it's tough because I don't want to judge I feel like it's a case by case basis, you know. Like I wouldn't want to like say something is like true
Yeah, something that
and
I
make
don't
a
think
blanket statement,
a lot
you
of
know.
people, especially if you're like lapsed in your Catholic faith, um, the priests, they're not scolding you when you're in confession.
Yeah.
Like you say some really like if you did some messed up stuff, like the priest never comes at you like, "Oh, you're a bad person."
Yeah.
Like it's almost like um it's like you're putting more pressure on yourself than what it is going to actually happen. You're going to go in there and the priest is just going to show you love. And
Mm-hmm.
no one really like thinks about that. It's like this old like grumpy and like priest or whatever. You think that he's going to be all mean and stuff. And then you go in there and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry that or whatever like
Yeah.
I'm happy you're here. Thank you for, sharing that." And, I hope you never feel like you have to obfuscate that truth or that struggle that you're going on with in your life right now. Like, I hope that you continue to have this dialogue with me, with God, and you're forgiven for all your sins.
Yeah.
And then you say the act of contrition, and then you like as you recite those words, you're like, oh wow, like I have to,
Trying to do this again.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Like, everybody talks about therapy nowadays as being like the ultimate thing that everybody needs, and the world would be hunky dory if we all go to therapy. I think confession is probably more therapeutic
Yeah.
than going to some PhD doctor and tell him all your problems.
And then they're trying to like gaslight you into
Yeah, yeah. Always
why
your
you're a
parents'
perfect
fault.
person. And you have this generational trauma or
Yeah,
like some kind of, inherited racial trauma.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like something so wild that you need a PhD to explain. um, but also I've heard that priests, man, like whenever they hear like these heavy confessions, and also like whenever they hear like a long duration, they almost feel like a greater like sense of joy.
hmm
They're like, dude, like someone by the grace of God like sent this person back to me,
Yeah.
you know? And they've been gone for like this long, and they've been doing like these horrible things. And then secondly, like someone gave this person the confidence to like share what they just said, you know? Like that in of itself is like, I don't know, some people think like they're getting scolded for that, but like, dude, if I was like, I guess like if I was in the chair of the priest, like I would think so highly of that person.
Yeah.
Like, man, you have the confidence to like come and say that to me.
Yeah, or the
You know what I mean?
courage.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
courage to like be able to confess that, and then you've been gone for like this long as well.
Hmm.
You know, like that just I feel like that would give me like so much joy if I was a priest.
Yeah.
Is to like see that.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about that? Like, being like, how does a priest feel when they listen to all this? Because I'm sure they've heard some really messed up stuff
Hmm.
over the years, and just how would you react if someone came up to you and it's like, I just, that person that you saw in the newspaper last week, I murdered them. That was me. It was with my full consent and I actually enjoyed it. But I know it's wrong, so I'm here to confess it. Like, what do you say to that?
Yeah, that's crazy, dude. But also, you know about the contritions,
What do you mean?
like the perfect and imperfect contritions.
Oh, well, like going to confess and not, like, not meaning it, or what?
So I mean, I think the church teaches like two different kind of contritions.
Mm-hmm.
Like one is like you genuinely feel bad and you genuinely like feel bad that you offended God and you genuinely feel bad in what you did. It's like a perfect contrition. And the imperfect is like, oh, you're just going because you're scared of the punishment from God, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Or you're just going because you want to partake in the Eucharist, but you don't really deserve it.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's hard because I feel like in order to do like an actual like perfect contrition, like I don't know if I can say for myself that I've been there.
Yeah.
Might be like a really tough thing to say.
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
Yeah.
I'm going to confession just because I'm scared that if I die, like
Yeah.
that I'm not gonna make it
Yeah.
into purgatory.
Yeah.
And then like,
Or through purgatory.
yeah,
Right. Like,
I'm not even gonna go there, you know,
yeah.
like or like I want to go to confession because you know I yearn for the Eucharist.
Hmm.
So I feel like those are very imperfect ways. But then like, you know, do I really have that conviction to like go out there and try not to do it again? And like,
Yeah.
am I actually like hurt by my like offense to God? Like, am I hurt by that, or like, am I just um trying to fake it so that I can receive the Eucharist? Like, I don't know. I've struggled with that,
Yeah.
thinking about that a lot. But I also know that even if you have a perfect contrition and you go to confession, like it's valid.
Yeah.
Like it's still a valid confession.
Yeah.
You know, like
100%.
God's grace covers the rest of that imperfectness
Hmm. Yeah.
that you lack, which I think is so beautiful. That's why I never like. That's why it's always like a thing for me, like monthly confession. Like I
Hmm.
don't care if I don't want to go. Like, dude, I'm going.
Yeah.
You know, like I really want
Yeah.
to stick to that.
I know it's funny you mentioned that because recently when I did go to Father Jude recently, yeah,
Mhm.
I mentioned that in my confession in that, hey, like, this might be like the fourth or fifth time that I come to confess you for this thing that I keep doing, and I feel like icky about that. I come to confess it and I say I'm not going to do it again, but then I do it again,
Yeah.
and now I'm here and I'm telling you to receive like forgiveness for this, but I don't know. I feel like in my heart, like it's probably in my future again, and I don't know like how to feel about that. And then his words were like he's just like, don't ever hide yourself from God. Don't ever feel ashamed
Yeah.
enough to where you're like, oh, like this is the fourth time that I confess this, like this in within 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. Like this is uh it's more of a, I forget exactly what he said, but he basically just come confess. Doesn't matter. Like you know that it's bad, right? Like you know that it's bad. Like this whole motion that you're doing, like it's necessary. It's part of the whole process. Just keep doing it and keep fighting it, and eventually we'll we'll uh we'll see what the results are. But don't ever try to hide yourself because you feel like you're not truly repentant.
Hmm.
And then he told me to pray for that. And like when you pray these next Hail Marys and Our Fathers, like just meditate on that idea, on like when you ask for God for stuff, ask for true repentance. And I was like, I never thought even to ask that, you know?
Yeah.
Like who thinks that, hey God, like please when I say I'm sorry to you, like, like help me truly mean it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't, that's actually great advice
Mm-hmm.
that he shared, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'll apply that for sure. It's
This,
like, you got to pray for that perfect contrition.
this is why we need Father Jude here, man. Shout out Father Jude. Yeah. But switching up
Let's
topics,
get
next
into the
one.
topics.
Yeah. So, how was your first traditional Latin Mass? How old were you? And where was it?
So, dude, I'm not gonna lie. I was probably like 18 or something.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like on like a family trip.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really remember much of it, but I do want to talk about the mass that we went to like a month ago,
Oh, yeah,
almost a
yeah,
month
yeah.
ago. Yeah. How did I feel about it? I like the army of altar servers for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like I, d- I don't care if you're there just to light up one candle or like you're there just to like ring a bell.
Yeah.
It always brings me joy to see like an army of young altar servers
Mm-hmm.
that are like seriously. I mean, I don't know
You want one?
their true conviction. No, I'm good. I don't know their true conviction, but like who are like there to like serve God.
Mm-hmm.
Like it always joys me to see like an army of altar servers
Yeah.
rather than like some churches I'm seeing like a bare minimum or like none. Like Father Jude's church has no altar servers or like one.
Yeah.
Second thing was like I really liked the positives. Like I really like the music, man.
Oh,
I do
yeah.
not like looking back now. I do not like secular music.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like how we give parishioners power over deciding parts of the liturgy. That's something that I've realized that I do not accept.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do not accept those who are not of the holy orders
Yeah.
to make decisions about holy things
Yeah.
or sacred things,
Yeah.
like the mass. Like and even like okay, like
Well, how about like Eucharist?
yeah, I don't like that either. But I'll talk about that later as well.
Mm-hmm.
But talking about the music first, like I know that, or I can assume, right? The Gregorian chants were like all those musics are like part of like an acceptable category, like an acceptable list of chants that are viable for mass, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I don't know if the music that we choose at mass in the Novus order, in the new order, is like all of that music is approved,
Yeah.
and also like the way that it's praised. Like, dude, I went to mass in Houston with like my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
We went to like the New Year, sorry, not New Year's, Easter Vigil mass.
Mm-hmm.
And man, the music was great, man. But like, dude, we have like drums and triangles and like all these different kinds of like instruments. I just thought like it just felt like at some point it felt like a big
Yeah.
concerti rather than like adoration. If it felt like, I don't know, to me it felt like human. I don't know. I'm very against making mass like a show and like I'm very against like like congratulating someone for like playing well at mass and like thinking people trying to like make themselves think highly, like make others think highly of themselves based off of like how they perform at mass. Like I'm against all that.
Yeah.
Very much against all that. Like dude, you come to mass to adore God. Everything is about God.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about humans at all.
Yeah.
And like I feel like the chants, they're very simple and they fulfill that task of like worshiping
Mm-hmm.
God without the added like without the added complexity of like this is something that I'm singing to get praise from, and like I think that that's the way it should be. Like it should be very minimalistic thing because music is not the main focus at mass.
Mm-hmm.
You bring drums and violins and triangles to mass, and you bring an army of
Mm-hmm.
choirs. Like I just think it leans towards that,
Yeah.
but I think everything should be minimalistic except for like what the actual like reason of mass should be. You know, that's just my opinion
Yeah.
on the
I
music.
actually
What do you think?
specifically remember as a kid, because I used to be an altar server as a kid. And I remember Father Bert, shout out Father Bert. I love that guy. I love him, and I love Father Angel, and they they were more formative in my faith than a lot of people, honestly. Like they were real pastors. I mean, they
Yeah,
still are. Right now, Father Angel, I have his book over there. It's a he's like in charge of a seminary now in Colorado. So I'm super proud of him. But anyway, that I remember as a kid when we went to go grab the candles so that we could go over and Father would read the gospel. He whispered at the music people that were next to the podium, and he was like, "Hey, could you lower the volume of the guitar and all the instruments that you're using? Like, I want to hear your voice more than I do your instruments." And he listened and was like, "Oh, okay." And he did like something, but you could tell it wasn't to Father's expectations, because he went back over there again to remind them, like, "Hey, for real, like,
like please.
please bring this down." And I just remember, like, because he's not known to be like a strict guy, like at all, like whatsoever. Like he's a very nice pastoral like type of father. But like this is the first time that I saw him like really push on and like listen, for real. Like I'm being serious. Turn down the acoustics of this stuff. And I just never really thought to ask him why or whatever. I just remember that happening. I never asked anybody why or whatever. It's just up until now, up until this moment where we're having this conversation, that I thought, oh wow, like it's
Yeah,
that's probably why. Like that it's more, yeah, yeah.
but you agree with what I said
Oh,
about this?
100%.
Yeah,
100%. Because Gregorian chant, there is no added instrument. Sometimes there's an organ,
yeah,
but it's definitely not the main like sound. The main sound is always the voice, the
hmm
voices. It's supposed to sound heavenly. It's
right.
supposed to sound like angels are singing, dude.
But to play devil's advocate a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's better also if on the same coin of having like an army of altar servers, you have an army of the choir, because it gives more parishioners like an opportunity to participate in the liturgy,
Yeah,
and there
yeah,
could
yeah.
be some graces and some internal like dude, I do nothing throughout the week, but like it's my one chance to like serve God. I want to participate in the choir,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to go to choir practice
Do
once a
you?
week. No. I'm just
Oh,
saying,
okay.
like, if
Uh-huh.
I'm someone that like is musically talented,
Yeah.
like I want to like you know use my talents for good, and like
Mm-hmm.
play the violin at
Yeah.
mass. Now then I would argue like I'm not sure, like this is a touchy subject, but like I'm not sure if the mass is the right environment for those kind of things. I wouldn't I would say no, but I
Mm-hmm.
know some people would say yes to that. I'm not sure if like the mass is a viable environment for like someone to like play those kind of instruments
Mm-hmm.
and receive that kind of the grace that comes from that. But I would I would say like that would be probably like an argument that the Novus Ordo provides for these kind of people. You know,
What argument?
is
What's the argument?
like being able to like be closer in the participation of mass through the liturgy by
Mm-hmm.
like playing their music
Yeah.
instead of like
Well, that is the point of the Novus Ordo, right? Is to get
right,
the parishioners more involvement in the mass, so that they're not just falling asleep in the pews or something.
right.
Because I mean, you could tell in the Latin Mass, like there's almost no attention being paid to the parishioners or like what they do or whatever.
Hmm.
Because when I went to New Orleans, I went to traditional Latin Mass on Sunday, but I also went on Monday morning and Tuesday morning. because they did a traditional Latin mass in the morning, and it's called the low mass. There's
Yeah.
the high mass and then the low mass. It was the first time I ever did a low mass, and they did it, but on the side altar, not on the main altar. They did it on the side altar, and there was only one altar server. And then, but I could tell like the parishioners that went to that early low mass, they didn't have any of the responses, like the Ecumetu Spiritus Spiritutuo. I felt like I was the only one who knew that. But the thing is that the priest isn't expecting that from the parishioners. That's what the altar server is there to do, is to give the responses when the priest is expecting those responses from the parishioners. The altar servers are there to give those responses. I don't know if when you went, if you could tell that the altar servers, they were doing their own responses, like even before the Eucharist communion. I don't know if you could tell that once they formed in front of the altar, there's this like laminated page on the floor there that the first altar server, he goes down and he bows his head and he reads everything on that page on behalf of the whole congregation there. And it's basically just like asking for forgiveness of our sins and all that. And then after he's done saying everything in there, the priest turns to his side and gives the forgiveness of all venial sins to everybody. And I thought that was super.
I read that in the book, but I didn't.
Oh, you actually read the book?
No, sorry. I was following along during the mass when it said that in the in the pamphlet that they had. I don't know what you call it, the official word for that. But yeah, that's really interesting that happens.
Like, I don't know if in the Novus Ordo we get forgiven for our venial sins. I haven't looked into that. Actually.
No, I don't think so explicitly, but I know we do pray like that act at the beginning of the mass. You know, where you like strike your breast like 3 times.
In my fault.
Yeah. That whole prayer probably serves the same purpose.
Yeah.
That was probably the replacement, you know?
Yeah.
Of like the...
Because that's pretty much what the altar server does, an extended version of that. And then you could tell that he does that little...
Dude, and then some masses, they just skip that entirely and they just say like... Sorry, some masses, they just skip that entirely and they just say like, Kyrie eleison. And then they go into the Gloria after that. But yeah, that's also very interesting. Also, it's cool that he read the homily or the gospel in Latin first, and then he read the vernacular and then did the homily afterwards. Was that always like that? Back in the days as well?
Oh no, back in the days it was always in Latin. Even the homily. The homily. I don't know.
Probably in the vernacular.
Yeah, the homily was probably in the vernacular.
But yeah, I didn't think anything too crazy about those sections. Maybe it was weird that we only have 1 reading instead of 2. I don't know.
There was 2.
There was 2? Really?
Yeah. There's
Oh, but there's no psalm. I knew something was missing, right? There's no responsorial psalm.
No responsorial psalm.
Okay.
Yeah. That's one of them.
Something of the Novus Order.
Well, there is. It's just that it's said silently.
Oh, I must have missed that part then.
Yeah, I'll show you my missal, dude. It's kind of, yeah. It was fun. It's fun, like starting to be able to use that properly.
Yeah.
Because in the missal, like the very center of it is the like kind of the order of the whole traditional Latin mass. But then you have to flip back to like the beginning, like towards the beginning of the missal to go on the exact date of like, let's say Easter Sunday or something like that, or the 4th Sunday after Easter, and then see what gospel is supposed to be said, or the introit and Psalms and all that. Yeah, it's all in there. It's definitely a lot more dense. But the thing is, a lot of it's said silently, so we don't really know exactly what's going on unless you're following along in the missal. And but that's the other thing. How do you feel about? Because in the traditional Latin Mass, since a lot of the stuff is said like to the priest himself or to the altar servers, it's just like a dialogue between them. There's a lot of people that pray the rosary during the Mass, or during the Mass, like the entire time up until communion, they're just praying to themselves. Like they're smelling the incense, they're hearing the bells, they're hearing the choir, but they're just praying. It seems like the perfect time to pray, especially if like nothing's expected out of you.
Yeah.
In the terms of like responses and like paying attention to what's going on. It's like the way that you described it the first time at work, where the priest is kind of the pilot flying the plane, and you're just
Passenger.
you're a passenger. And what are you going to do in the meantime from your point A to point B? You get to pray. You get to pray in the most in a holy place with like holy music and I don't know. I love incense. I love the smell of incense. When I smell incense, I'm like, oof, the Holy Spirit is around it.
Wait, so how do you feel about that? Do you like that, or do you prefer that, or what are your thoughts on that personally?
Yeah, I like it because I feel like people probably don't pray enough. And if you want to use that time to pray, like I think that's really cool. I remember I went to a TLM on Saturday, and right before the TLM, they had confession. And one of my the penance that I got was like 10 Our Fathers and 10 Saint Michael the Archangel prayers. But the thing is that as soon as I got done with confession, like mass started, and I took my grandma for the first time. Oh, and so I took my grandma for the first time to the TLM, and she's never seen it before, and
Really?
she loved it, dude. Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
wait, but she was born before 1954 or whenever Vatican II happened, so she didn't
She just doesn't remember.
Oh, she doesn't remember. Okay.
Yeah, she later told me that she asked like her older sister about it, and her older sister does remember it. And she was really excited.
So she was really
about
young.
It. Yeah, yeah. Her older sister was really excited that she got to participate in it or like see it, and yeah, so they talked about that for a while. But yeah, so I confessed, and then I went into church, and it had already started, and I was like, oh, dude, like I gotta say this. But the thing is that I didn't know the Saint Michael prayer by heart.
Yeah.
I knew the Our Father, obviously, but I didn't know the Saint Michael prayer by heart, and I didn't want to take out my phone and like during mass. So I was like, oh, and I didn't have like a book or something that had the Saint Michael prayer. So I was just like, that whole time I was just trying to say it in my head to like, oh, Saint Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Oh, what goes after that? And then it would come to me, and then like a few words would come to me, and then a few more words, and then I would fail again, and then I would just say it over again and again and again towards like right before the Eucharist. I finally got it. I finally got it. Yeah, yeah. And I finally got it, and then I said it 10 times, and I felt like, oh, like I was like, oh wow, like I can't believe I learned the Saint Michael prayer like because I forced myself to, and I didn't have anything to reference. Like it literally was.
Dude,
just,
that wasn't you, man.
I was just drilling into my brain, like find the words, dude.
Dude, that was like God speaking to you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So imagine that, like having that type of experience. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Spending that whole time just like, oh, please.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't know. My opinion might be a little bit different from yours based off of what you said. I feel like I value like church unity, and I guess when it comes to like someone's coming to celebrate mass, you know, like even though the priest is doing one thing, like
what do you mean by church unity, though?
Like just like dude, if I'm coming to mass, like I understand what you're saying, like, oh, it's a time for like private prayer, but I think mass in and of
itself can be, but that's not the
thing. I think mass in and of itself should be like something that's everything that's like celebrated together in union. And so with that same like logic, I would not like that's one of my criticisms of the TLM is like whatever the priest is praying, like I want to follow along. Like if I'm a parishioner, I want to like participate and I want to follow along.
But what's that? That's what the missal's for, though.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying in Latin to himself, right? But like you can see where the Latin's at, and then the English right next to it,
right?
And then actually consume what it is that he's saying, because even in the Novus Ordo, if you listen to what he's saying, okay, you hear it spoken, but do you understand like what, like why did he say that? Like what exactly did he say? Where is it in the thing? It's just that I think it gives you more time to try to understand like what it is that's going on at that time. But But yeah, no, I get. You're saying more unity in that we're all saying the same prayer at the same time.
No, yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
My thing is, I wouldn't like, private prayer. Like, we do have times during mass, but rather short. But like, there are times during mass with private prayer. But I do think, as a body of Christ coming to mass and we're celebrating, mass together. I do think most of the mass, should be like celebrated together. Where like
Mhm.
we're all following the direction of the pilot, pretty much. And like, even though like, yeah, like some parts of it, like you can't hear what he's doing, I would err on the side of like trying to get involvement as much as possible. And like there's two things with the missile, right? Like, you could have the missile and follow along, but also you're not even hearing like what he's saying. So
Yeah.
like, so like it like, maybe there's a compromise. Like, he could say what he's saying and project it somehow, and have
Mhm.
everyone hear it, and then have people follow along. Like, even if it's in Latin, like, I can follow along if it's in Latin. The English translation is right there. It's just like, dude, I would like to know kind of like where he's at, instead of like guessing off the pictures of like how the altar server is like holding his
Yeah.
gown. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like because like it was one point where like it was like almost like 5 or so minutes of like the priest and the altar server like saying those prayers,
Mhm.
and I was assuming that we were on this section, and then we had jumped to like this other section, and I was like, oh, like we went that quick.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't
Yeah.
know, but like the only reason why I would know is because like I see the altar servers like doing the thing in the picture,
Yeah.
So like, dude, the only way that people can really follow along is through like the actions of the altar server,
Yeah. Yeah.
even if they're following along that way,
Or
it's like,
where the missile is of the priest, like it's
yeah,
sometimes on this side of the altar, then the altar server brings it, comes down, and then brings it on the other side. Like what I would argue is that it provokes curiosity. At the very least, that's what it does to me. It's like, why do they do that?
mhm.
Like, what are they saying? How can I follow along without looking at the pictures? And that puts like the homework on me to figure out what is the structure of what is the sequence that happens so that I can recognize what's going on and go to that place in the missile, just by not just seeing like what the altar service do, but where the missile is on the altar, or what's being like sung by the choir, like the Kyrie eleison or the secula secularum. Like you start hearing all these things, and then you're like, oh, we're at this part. So what I would say is, so Taylor Marshall always says this is in his podcast, is that you're not going to go to the traditional Latin mass like one time and you're going to be like, oh, like his challenge is always like at least go 4 times to get a certain,
Yeah,
to understand kind of the rhythm of the mass, to try to see where you're at. Like I've gone more than 4 times and I'm still a little lost, but I'm definitely more like more oriented now than I was in the first like 3 times that I went, which makes me even more excited. Like last time when I went with my wife in St. Patrick's in New Orleans, like she after church she mentioned to me like it seemed like I kind of knew where we were and like what I was reading and all
yeah.
that. And she was like, how do you know all that? Like how do you know if like they're not saying anything? It's like, and my answer was just like, oh well, because I've been because since I've been lost so many times, I kind of want to know where I'm at. So after mass or like during the week or whatever, I kind of start to read through that stuff and understand what the structure is and what the sequence of it all is. I think that if it provokes curiosity in the person, then and it makes them study, like think about God and think about mass and all that stuff outside of church in their own time.
Mhm.
I think that's even more powerful.
Yeah. I mean, so what I would say to that is like, I feel like at a certain point, like, I mean, dude, I definitely get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, do you think anybody's curious about what's happening in the Novus Ordo? Like, does anybody study the mass outside of the mass?
probably not. No.
But if like the priest and was saying stuff like to himself, and it seems like a little
Yeah.
obscure and stuff like that, it's I think it provokes more curiosity than not, I guess.
Right, because it almost in a way like it forces the human will to like actively go out and like explore something rather than having it handed to them.
Yeah.
I don't. I think there is. I think that's. I think that's a good argument for like how the mass the TLM is. Like it should be like kind of like a mystery
Mm-hmm.
that like an unboxing that like someone should like try and go out and do and like explore for themselves.
Yeah.
Also, I do want to say like I only went once, but like I do want to go again. Like I'm not saying that I'm like completely against it. I'm not completely against it. I'm just very like there's a lot of things that are like I feel like I'm very like in the middle about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I do wish that like yeah, I get what you're saying that like you kind of get it, you kind of get used to it after you go a couple times and you recognize that like oh like these signs are like what he's doing is like the is like this is what he's saying because like
Mm-hmm.
you know in the Novus Order like whenever whenever the priest is like preparing the altar, right, like he's saying these prayers to himself, you know, and like if there's no music, you know, he'll say it into the microphone. He'll say like, dude, I don't remember all he says. He's like, "Blessed, O God," and then he says like this whole prayer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when he's like preparing the altar, and then we all say like "Blessed be God forever,"
Yeah.
and like that whole response.
Yeah.
But like in the Novus Order, like that part, he says in silence,
Mm-hmm.
and then the choir is like singing
Mm-hmm.
as he prepares the altar.
It's literally called The Secret. Like in the Missal,
Oh, really?
it's called The Secret.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
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 And it's like, but it's like out of me, like I've never, I don't know, maybe out of my ignorance, but like I've never saw that as like a mystery or like something that I wanted to look into.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Also, whenever you receive communion, obviously, like you're kneeling and you receive it in the mouth. Whenever he gives you the Eucharist, he does a little cross before, like in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. He gives it like that. Where in the Novus Ordo, it's just like,
Yeah, but we have to say amen too.
yeah,
But I don't think
that's the thing. Like in the Novus
TLM,
Order,
don't
you
got
say amen. In the TLM, you can't because like,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
My dream, before I
Go
forget,
ahead.
my dream one day is to go to mass and it be full of just different types of people, different ethnicities, like Mexicans, white people, black people, Vietnamese people, just like all different types of like from all over the world. No matter where you go, it's going to be the same mass every single time, and like it's not contingent on what the language is. I thought that was kind of a beautiful thought because I started contemplating what the difference is of like how British conquered the U.S. Or like came to the U.S. and Protestantism became like the U.S. thing, and in Mexico the Spaniards went. And in the U.S. you could tell that there wasn't a whole lot of assimilation between like white people and Indians, but in Mexico there was. It's like in Mexico there's white Mexicans and then there's like very dark Mexicans as well, but they were all very intermingled. Like a Spaniard married a indigenous person, and that was like and then generations and generations after that, like they were able to conform a lot better. And I started to think that back in the day, like the traditional Latin Mass was the thing. So whenever they converted all these people, like whenever the Our Lady of Guadalupe appeared, like that all was during TLM times.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's probably because there wasn't a difference in language at like whenever you would go adore God.
Yeah.
Whereas here it was like even to this day, there's black churches and there's white churches. Like there's a distinction between those two.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just had that thought before we got back to what we were saying about.
No, dude, I want to
TLM,
I want to talk about that thought actually.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think if you think back to like the purpose of mass, like coming to mass is like a place like a sacrifice of time and like like an adoration of the will and like an adoration like a worshiping of the soul. It's like dude, if we use the language that was prescribed to us by the church, like the Latin language, that is also an extension of like our sacrifice in a way. Like we're sacrificing our I don't know if this is, people might argue this is a bad thing, but like we're sacrificing to an extent like our understanding, and like to an extent like we're sacrificing our Yeah, like our knowledge, our understanding, and our ability to like take part, and we're relying more so on like that faith to like drive us in our
Mhm.
worship.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know. I think that's a great idea to like. I think that's also like a beautiful thing. It's like sometimes because like most times in our lives, like everyone wants full control, like full knowledge. Like, dude, I want to know what's going on.
Mhm.
Like, I want to know where I'm going.
Yeah.
You know, like if I'm on a bus, like, or if I'm on a plane, like I want to put down the window and like, dude, where am I right now?
Yeah.
Like, is this pilot taking me to the right place? Like, but I do feel like there's a lot of beauty in like us giving that up when we walk into mass
Mhm.
and we see something that like we don't understand, the
Yeah.
Latin
Give
language and
up
like,
all the control.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we're just like, dude, like I'm happy to be here.
Mhm.
You know, like God, here's my time,
Yeah.
here's my thoughts, like here's my will.
Yeah.
You know, like just allow me to like worship.
Yeah.
Dude, like I don't know. I brought up the idea earlier in the podcast of like the the gift of like the gift of like free will and like how I think it's beautiful when we hand it back to God.
Yeah. We submit our free
Yeah,
will when we enter mass.
exactly. I do believe in that, and the more I think about it, it's like the more that we you know sacrifice like our understanding, the more freely like we give that.
Mhm.
Because like we as humans, we're no longer in control. Like we just trust that like the priest is doing
Mhm.
everything. We
Yeah.
just like exist. But also, I don't know. I do think it's beautiful that it's in Latin, and it kind of sucks nowadays that especially here in Austin, it's not really like common to do the TLM to celebrate the TLM
Yeah.
because
And
it's
it's actually frowned upon.
yeah,
It's very frowned upon. It's
right.
like in South Carolina, the bishop there basically outlawed the TLM. It's like if you're
And here it's basically like that too, right?
yeah, yeah,
Except for like this loophole that we have.
yeah, exactly,
It's
exactly.
kind of funny.
I'm going to a wedding for my cousin this not this weekend, but the one after this, and I texted her yesterday, and I was like, hey, we're gonna be able to go. I was like, we're happy to come see you or whatever. And then I asked her if she knows, because I was looking for a TLM in that area in Colorado, and there's an SSPX
Oh my gosh.
parish there,
Oh my gosh.
and it's a beautiful parish, dude. It's beautiful, and it's right next to where the wedding is gonna be at.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh wow, like that's cool. Then I mentioned it to her, and she's like, yeah, my parents, her parents, there's there's this house full of priests
Mhm.
that's where they live. And when she interacted with them, she asked them if they went to that church, and their response was like, "Oh no, they're weird. They're really weird.
Yeah.
Don't go to that church." Like, could
Yeah.
you imagine priests telling you, "Hey,
Mm.
don't go to
I
that
don't
church."
I don't like that. I wanted
Yeah.
to talk about SSPX too,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
but
SSPX. Yeah.
also
Yeah.
I feel like we're drifting.
We
I
are.
feel like
We
we
are.
gotta
We are.
finish one topic
Yeah.
and
Let's
move
finish. Let's finish
on
this
to that
topic.
topic.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh, that's awesome that you get to go to SSPX church though.
I
Yeah,
was
man.
I looked up the date. I was like, is this going to be after the consecrations or before? Because I mean, what's we'll get into that later, but yeah. Because I'd feel some type of way if I went to an SSPX church after like they were like they did the consecrations without papal approval.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then that would kind of mean that they're well, at least the people there, the people that participate in the consecration would be excommunicated,
Yeah.
and that'd feel
Bad.
yeah, that'd feel a little weird. Like I've never thought about that. Could you imagine being excommunicated from your church, your faith? Like,
Mhm.
especially if you truly are, like, you truly believe in the Catholic faith.
No, those guys have the strongest convictions, man. Those
Dude.
the SSPX people, especially
Yeah,
if they want to actually ordain the
ordain them
ordain
bishops.
those bishops. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we'll get into it, but
Yeah.
let's finish with the
But
TLM. Your experience here at St. Martin.
I do feel like more thinking about it now, man. I do feel like I'm very much in the middle, like Norvis Ordo versus TLM. Like I want to compromise.
Hmm.
Like I want some more vernacular language, but I know I just wanted to spew about like the whole sacrificing of the free will.
Hmm.
But
I mean, no, microphone too.
Sorry, but I do feel because like I was talking to my father about this, and he just gave me like a different perspective.
Mhm.
He was like, yeah, there are some times when like you know you're going to the mass and like some of the priests don't even like seem like they're practicing the mass or they're saying the mass correctly, and those doubts could also cloud your mind if you're not holding the priest accountable and like having him say the prayers into like a microphone, like having those private prayers.
Mhm.
And I actually noticed this recently when I went to, I'm not gonna say where, but like I went to mass somewhere, and like dude, I know like when the priest is preparing the altar, which is like the only time when there's like really one of the only times when there's like a in the Norvis Ordo where there's like a silent prayer between like the priest and just God, and he's not doesn't have a microphone in front of him. I don't know if you're familiar with what I'm talking about. Like that, it's after they like the altar servers or like the people bring up the gifts
Mhm.
and the altar server and then the music is like they're singing in the background and then like it's right after the prayers of the faithful.
Mhm.
Um, but dude, like the priest just I know he has to say like a prayer, but like the priest just like raises the host and just is like I'm like dude, like you're supposed to aren't you supposed to raise it up and say a prayer and then
Yeah.
lower the host like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm at
Yeah.
that point. I'm like, dude, like he's not actually saying it, and then it got me thinking. I was like, man, like in the history of time, like there was probably priests that like like half-assed mass and like didn't really say all the prayers,
Mhm.
and then you had the congregation like I guess in doubt or like in you had them fooled. Like
Yeah.
you thought that the full mass was celebrated, but like so I do want that
That goes back to
somewhat.
the knowledge part and the altar servers
Yeah,
and like, because you could tell when you went, could you tell that the altar servers, they know.
yeah,
They know how everything is supposed to happen. You know
yeah.
that one altar server that I told you was like the
Hmm.
general or whatever? Like he's always there, and even though he knows everything, he's not he's a like it's rare when he is like the main altar server that is, doing everything. He's like in the background most of the time, and I've always found that very like
Yeah, he's
nice.
almost like a manager of them.
Yeah, yeah, or like a guide.
Uh huh.
Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was just like the look, like he could just give you a look, and you're like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, it's this time for this. Especially because it's like older altar servers all the way down to like very, very young kids,
Hmm.
very young kids. And, like they don't have a lot to do, but they know their role. They teach us like to hold the candle during this time and all that. But back to your dad's point that how do we keep,
Yeah. Dude,
Mhm.
also, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so beautiful seeing an army of altar servers ranging from ages. But yeah, sorry. Going back to, dude, yeah, because those are so precious. Like, watching those kids, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I saw them communicating across the stage because, like, one of them was like, oh, like, do I kneel? Do I stand? Like, what do I do? And the other
Yeah.
one was like, I could see them signaling.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was precious, man.
Yeah.
Because, like, even though it's like, I don't know, people can see, like, oh, they're messing up. Like, dude, I
Yeah.
see two kids, like, trying their best,
You could tell, yeah, no, you
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 know?
see they're trying their best, and the people that are experienced, like they're taking it seriously.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that I've realized with the TLM. Like it seems like everybody's taking it seriously. Like
Yeah.
the altar servers, the parishioners, they're actually putting on their Sunday best, and especially the priests. Like I see Father Nguyen as like this super, like like I'm here to save souls.
Yeah.
Like that is my sole purpose. And he's almost kind of like militant about it. But like what you're describing, because I've seen a lot of Novus Ordo type stuff where the priest doesn't seem like he actually even believes in the real presence. Like it seemed it like it.
He's just going through
You
emotions.
just kind of see it, and it like if the priest doesn't care, then I'm like, what
Yeah.
is it? Is it the real presence? Like, what is the formula that the priest has to say? What are the exact words that he has to say for the
Yeah.
Eucharist to be valid? And then I started seeing like the Latin of when the priest is consecrating the host. There's this very special moment in which he says this word that kind of in the way that you say that word, it forces you to breathe out. Like it's and he breathes to the Eucharist, and you see him bend over, get close, and Hoc Spirit. Like he has to breathe a life into it. And that little moment in there is all through the Bible, and God breathing the life into you. And I always thought it like that seems super super cool. But anyway,
No, I didn't notice that actually. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also, I don't know. I saw something from Aquinas, I think, because someone had asked a question and someone answered it, but it was like, yeah, we found out like this priest was invalid for whatever reason. I don't remember. But then they asked the question, was like, oh, so like every mass that they said was invalid, like every confession that they heard was invalid, like everything that they did was like pretty much invalid. And the answer that the person gave, and
Aquinas?
they quoted Aquinas actually.
Oh, yeah.
Like the priest at the end of the day is like a mediator, and it's God working through the priest.
Yeah. God wouldn't allow it to not be valid. If you believe, that it is valid, then it is valid, you know?
Yeah, even if like the medium is not 100% like a valid medium, like the priest is not 100% like a valid vessel, like God, through God's grace, like God enough can like, his grace can like work through a broken vessel almost.
Yeah.
And provide like the necessary grace for salvation.
Yeah.
And so my thought process to like that answer was like, even if we have like, you know, priests half-assing mass, I don't go out of it. I never go out of it thinking to myself like, dude, I gotta go to another mass because that one was not valid. I never think that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, dude, like, you know, the priest is going through the motions, you know, whatever. But at the end of the day, like, I received the necessary grace that I got from going to mass.
Yeah.
And so that's, at the end of the day, like, that's my perspective on it. It's like, even if the TLM priests are like half-assing the mass, they're not saying the right prayers, and they're tricking the people to assuming that like they are completing the prayers. Like, dude, at the end of the day, bro, it's a mass, you know, and God's working through that person.
Yeah.
No matter how broken they are, to like, you know, give that grace to the people.
Yeah.
Because,
do you know about Sedevacantism?
No.
Oh, we need to talk about that after too. I added that to the list. So, okay, what were you gonna say?
All right, and then other parts of the TLM. So, I love the Latin music. I love the Latin language. I do think some parts could be like in English or like in the vernacular. I don't know at the moment which ones. I'm gonna be honest, but maybe I need to go to another TLM to figure that out. But
I feel like as you like go into it, like as you start looking into the TLM and all that,
you think I'll be more leaning towards the TLM?
Like once you start discerning like what should be in English, you'll be like, oh, should this be in English?
Nothing should be in English.
Yeah. Or should this be in the vernacular?
Yeah, because what I'm basically saying is like contradictory to what I said before about like the whole like sacrificing of the will, and sacrificing of the understanding.
Yeah.
You know, but okay. So let's not talk about languages anymore. About the parishioners handing out the Eucharist.
Oh yeah,
I do not like that at all. I mean, but looking at studying the case with like my father again, like I do see some, you know, some benefit. But like, dude, if there's 1,000 parishioners, I don't care if the mass takes 2 hours long.
Yeah,
like the priest should be the one handing it out. Like, okay, like sure, if the mass is like, you know, you're celebrating mass for like so many people. I've also heard that like the Vatican has taught that like you should keep homilies terse. Like you shouldn't have like homilies that are too long.
Yeah,
you know, and by the same like thought process, I'm guessing you shouldn't have like the communion portion of mass take forever. I do agree in that.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree too. But do you think it takes longer for parishioners to line up and go one by one and receive it in the hand or whatever? Or do you think, or what takes longer, that or when parishioners go up and kneel at the altar rail?
Let me think about it, because the priest, because at the end of the day, you're waiting like.
Well, you don't have to think about it, because there's a lot of YouTube videos now, and a lot of masses that were recorded for YouTube to see like live, especially during COVID, they timed it.
Oh, really?
They timed it per person, and like I think,
oh, that's crazy.
yeah, dude, they timed it, and doing the Novus Ordo way,
It's longer.
like the average length for each individual to receive communion was 4.5 seconds, and on the altar rail that the priest can just go like that, it was 3.2.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that is crazy. I was like, what?
Wait, so does that count like the priest going rail to rail on either sides
Mhm.
as well?
Mhm.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Well, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Someone made a reel about it. I'll send it to you later, but yeah, it was wild.
That's okay, but does that include like are they comparing just like one priest versus like, because like you'd have to look at only one priest, right?
So yeah, imagine that.
They
It's
did
just one priest
Oh.
giving it for everybody,
Yeah.
as opposed to in the Novus Ordo, it's the priest, a minister next to them, and then maybe two more in the middle, and maybe two more at the very back. Maybe one goes up to the choir.
And that was shorter or longer? No way, Dan.
Yeah.
Dude, no way.
Yeah.
I can't believe that right now. Like,
Yeah.
actually, no way.
Yeah.
I'd have to look into that.
Yeah, no, dude.
I
let's
don't
do it.
believe that at
We
all.
could do our own study, dude. It's because there's so many masses on YouTube now.
I don't know if I believe that, to be honest, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I guess I'm trying to figure out where the variance is. Is it probably from the people like walking up and bowing and all that, you know?
Maybe.
Like where the variant, like, because some people like, you know.
Also, you have to take into account that in the TLM, it's just the body of Christ.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
we don't do
yeah.
the blood of Christ.
Let's table that idea. I want to look into that later. And I actually want to study that.
Mm-hmm. Which is also something I really appreciate about the Novus Ordo. I wish we did the blood of Christ in TLM too, because I enjoyed doing both.
Oh, but and then in the TLM, one representative will like drink it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the end.
Well, the priest.
I noticed one lady walk up.
Oh yeah, one lady. I think it's like on special requests.
Oh.
Like if you tell the priest like, hey, can you do this, and then the priest will say, yeah, just be the last one to approach the altar rail, and I got you.
Okay.
I think because it's also like a gluten thing or something.
Gluttony, yeah. Like consume too much.
No, gluten, like a gluten allergy type.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the host is like weak.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so, but I think we both agree for like, you know, that communion time shouldn't be too long.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think we both agree on that, and I mean if it's true, then I guess like not having Eucharistic ministers is slower. But I don't know if I.
But not just slow, but also going back to whether or not the priest actually said what was needed to be said to give a valid host or a valid Eucharist. Do you know Mother Teresa?
Yeah.
So I just saw an interview of a priest that interacted with Mother Teresa back in the day.
I think I watched the same interview.
Really?
Maybe.
With on Pints with Aquinas, Matt Frad.
Yes.
So have you listened
Dude,
to?
I know exactly what you're about to say.
Yeah.
You're about to say the greatest evil is receiving.
I
watched
was
that same reel.
surprised. I was like, "What, Mother Teresa?"
I watched that same reel.
Yeah.
He was like,
was it real? Oh, yeah.
He was like, yeah, out of all the evils in the world, like, you know, that's the same thing. We watched the same video.
Yeah. Well, no, I'd listened to like the whole podcast, but I guess there's a reel now too.
No, it was a short that I watched of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was gonna touch on that after we talked about the duration thing.
Yeah.
Because I do believe in the shorter duration, but I also think that communion should be reserved for like the mouth and kneeling only. I do agree with that 100%.
And that like the only person that has consecrated hands to be able to touch
the communion should be
the body of Christ is the priest.
Yeah.
You know, and so like you were talking about cognitive dissonance earlier, but imagine that in that before, like in the Latin Mass, you would the Eucharist would be the crescendo of the whole thing, right? Like everybody's so everybody believes in the true presence, and you understand why the priest is the only one who could touch it, apart from you when it goes into your mouth. But after the Novus Ordo, once we had Eucharistic ministers, and now everybody's willy-nilly about it, in that anybody could touch it, I guess. It's like you're demoted.
Yeah, no, for
It's
sure.
like you demoted like in the TLM, you know how they have that little thing underneath you?
You don't have that
In
anymore.
case you have like this crumb. It's like they cared about even like a molecular little crumb that might fall. Like that's also the body of Christ, and that's super important for us too. So like we're not taking chances. Well, before we used to never take chances.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's a great evil that came out of,
Mm-hmm.
and also the opportunity to like celebrate a black mass.
Yeah, I was about to mention that too. It's like you just open the door for all these Satanists to just come in and steal a host.
Dude, because if you think about it, man, and this is something that I was telling my dad last time we talked about this, was like, if you think about it, out of all the priests, like there are a subset of priests that are evil,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, and then those, you think about it, like those priests have access to like the host,
Mm-hmm.
and now you open up the accessibility of the host to laity, who at some churches like only have to go in for like an hour training to be able to be a Eucharistic minister.
Yeah.
Like that just opens up the possibility, the population of evil
To infiltrate.
accessibility to hosts, and that
Mhm.
just opens up the possibility of like more black masses happening.
Mm-hmm.
Where like, dude, I could just say I'm handing out like these Eucharistic hosts and just take one home.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
You know, and when you're receiving it on the hand or like any other way, you know, that's also like a opportunity for them to do grave evil.
Mm-hmm.
And like not all churches do this, but like you should have someone that like stands not right next to, but like in a convenient location next to the Eucharistic minister to ensure that all the parishioners are consuming the host and
Mhm.
not putting it in their purses.
Yeah.
Like I've seen multiple times at my Vietnamese church back at home, like the priest is chasing a parishioner who put the host in their purse.
What?
It's crazy. Yeah. And they made a whole scene about it. Like we should have someone on guard next to every single Eucharistic minister to watch these parishioners consume the host. You know,
Like why do you think, like what do you think was the justification for
doing something like that,
receiving on the hand or allowing
them
Eucharistic
to
ministers?
are you talking about like from the Vatican II perspective, or
Oh yeah, I mean, because it came out of Vatican II, right? Like what do you think was the argument for
for that?
receiving in the hand?
Like what's the benefit?
Yeah.
There's one could say like sanity.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess like the priests were annoyed of like having to, you know, accidentally touching people's tongues too much or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one maybe benefit, and then with the whole COVID thing, I know everyone's paranoid about that as well.
Yeah.
And then like, but then like sanity, like you bring up sanity, and then you allow people to drink from the cup.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, then again, like that throws sanity out, like like it throws that out of the window kind of, because like
Sterilization.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't see any other benefits.
Yeah.
Like I don't, other than convenience. You know, maybe like their intent was like allowing people to like stand, and then also like there's like a height difference or something. Like maybe someone's too tall, too short, so they're not able to like administer on the tongue in an effective manner that doesn't risk like the dropping of the host. You know what I mean? Because like, you know, you imagine someone reaching too far up or like reaching too far down. Or reaching too far down is like a different story. Like if it's a kid, then like the minister should like be lowering themselves, you know. But like that's the only other argument that I would see for it.
Yeah.
You know. Besides that, like, man, I don't really know. But I now that I've come to this understanding, like, dude, I will not receive the Eucharist in any other way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if I'm denied it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I will like do that.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Did you see that? It recently went viral, but there was this family that went up to the altar rail and
Yeah.
were waiting.
I think I sent you that.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
That was kind of disheartening.
Yeah. But also a good that comes out of that, I would say, is actually something my dad does. So my dad will take the after mass, like he'll come up as like you know how sometimes masses, they hand out like the chalices.
Hand out the chalices?
Yeah, like they'll hand out the chalice that and they hand out to like the family, and then the family takes the chalice and like goes home and prays for vocations. I guess it's something that
Oh, is it more like in the sense of it being a consecrated like relic type thing?
kind of. I mean, maybe it's just something in the Vietnamese community that we used to do, but like, or we do, but like at the end of mass, like before the final blessing, like the priest will like invite a family up, and they'll just get like a chalice, and then for the week they'll just go home and pray for vocations on the chalice with the chalice, and then return the chalice, the next Sunday.
That actually sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then after that as well, the priest would come up and like hand Eucharistic hosts to like some volunteer laity, some Eucharistic ministers actually, that are volunteering to like deliver these hosts to those who can't make it to mass. And so that's what my dad does.
Oh, okay.
Like he, after masses on Saturday evenings, he drives to 2 or 3 different houses, and he administers the Eucharist. Like he prays with them, he administers the Eucharist to them, and then he leaves.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, that in itself is like I think that's a benefit,
Mm-hmm.
because if you have a large parish with so many people, and then you have all these people that are sick, you can't expect the priest to make that trip every Sunday, to deliver the host to like 20 people.
Yeah.
So I do see a great, and
I mean,
like,
you would if you had enough priests.
right,
Yeah.
and they weren't like, but then like, dude, you have so many parishioners, you have to imagine there'd be a lot of masses, and then you have to have the priest say those masses too. So like, dude, it's a whole situation, but like I do see a lot of benefit in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like those who can't make it to mass, physically receiving the host
Mm-hmm.
through, trusted Eucharistic ministers that are delivering the hosts on the church's behalf. Like I do see a lot of benefit in that.
Yeah.
For sure.
But do you think it'd be, if we did have enough priests, do you think it'd be more beneficial if the priest was the one who did that?
100%, for sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't argue that at all.
Yeah.
Like,
because I can imagine, like, what does that do to a person when a priest came from wherever he came from just to be able to give you, have you partake in the Eucharist, make the
Right.
trip all the way out there. Like, you're not paying him.
Yeah.
He's not receiving any money, but a priest is taking out the time out of his day to drive all the way out to where you're at. Like,
dude,
I
agree. That'd be a beautiful thing, but to ask of that sacrifice from all our priests, I think was asking for a lot.
Yeah, right now, yeah. I mean, but like, as the vocations are growing and like we have so many more new priests that are going through seminary, like it seems like a beautiful like goal to eventually attain, to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's my main thought of the whole TLM thing, was like, I do not agree with laity handing out Eucharist. I also do not agree with laity, dare I say, like going on the altar.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like altar servers should, and people with like
it's a privilege to be up there. Yeah.
So I don't like them being able to read or anything like that. Like I just, the priests do that.
Yeah.
Especially
yeah.
But yeah, also so this last thing I wanted to say, I don't know if you wanted to go to a different topic, but like last thing I wanted to say was like, I know Pope Leo published something recently about the he published like a message to the priests, actually, like all the priests, and he was like, guys, like, please stick to the standard forms of mass, like the Vatican approved like liturgy practices. Because I think what I've been noticing maybe is like I love the uniformity of mass, and the idea that like I can go to mass here today, and then I can go to mass when I travel like to Europe or something, and I'm going to be celebrating the same liturgy, assuming
that it's in the same language.
Like I love the uniformity of mass. I think it's beautiful that, like, and the TLM had this, like, everyone in the world was saying the same mass in the same language, the same way,
exactly,
every single time,
exactly,
like copy and paste. I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And to say that like this is the way that they celebrated mass for years and years, like thousands of like 2,000 years almost.
Yeah.
I think that's also a very beautiful thing
Yeah.
to be like, yo, like the same mass that I'm celebrating right now in 1950 is the same mass that they celebrated back in like
That Thomas Aquinas
yeah,
celebrated.
yeah. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh yeah, the Pope Leo was just
Oh,
saying
yeah.
like you guys got to stick to like what's approved in the Vatican,
Mm-hmm.
like because I've noticed actually like going to some of these masses that like some masses will celebrate things a little bit differently.
Novus Ordo.
They would
Yeah.
celebrate the Novus Ordo a little bit differently, and like there would be like slight nuances that they would change.
Yeah.
Like for example, like one mass after the prayer of the faithful, we're saying the Hail Mary first for some reason. I'm like that to me was weird.
Yeah.
And then this is back in Georgia, and like I really loved that priest, but I don't know, man. Some of the things that he admitted was like, you know how after the prayer of the faithful, you say like the person says like we pray to the Lord, and then we respond like Lord, hear our prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Like whoever changed liturgy over there, they would change up that response like on a weekly basis. So like I remember one of the responses was like something like Jesus come near to us or something. So like they would say like, oh, we pray for like the intentions of the Pope. We pray to the Lord. And then instead of saying like Lord, hear our prayer, we would say like Jesus come near to us. And they would change it up like every week. And I was like, I thought it was like a stylistic thing.
Yeah.
But then I just started feeling very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, I don't like this at all. Like who made the decision to like do this?
Yeah, to change.
You know,
this,
one
yeah.
week it was like Maranatha, like hear our voice or something. I was like, what? Like, what are we saying right now?
Yeah.
You know? And that kind of like baffled me a little bit. And then it got me thinking. I was like, I don't like that. Like, I don't like that. Like, out of nowhere, we get these local decisions that are being made about like the liturgy, the sacred liturgy,
Yeah.
the sacred liturgy. Like, we should not be making our own decisions on what everyone should be saying. Like, dude, that's up to the Vatican.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't. And then I notice it a little bit like in every single parish now, kind
Yeah.
of like their own like stylistic way of like doing things. And I'm like, dude, I don't like that. You know, like who gave you the authority to do this? Like, just listen to the Vatican.
Yeah.
You know, like that's all. That's my thought process with that. I don't know what you think about it.
No, I completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which goes back to why I think TLM is the way. Yeah, because it just seems like we demoted a lot of this stuff with Novus Ordo. Because I saw this one liturgy in Brazil where like it was entirely different, Like, and everybody was like no one was really paying attention at all. And the priest was kind of like I don't know how to describe it. I don't want to talk bad about it because Novus Ordo is still valid and like they're still very, 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 very faithful Catholics that go every day, dude.
Mm-hmm.
They go every day. And I started seeing the beauty in that when I went to New Orleans and I went Sunday, then I went Monday morning and then Tuesday morning. I was like, this is a great way to start the day.
Yeah.
Like, it's an amazing way to start the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then that started getting into my head. It's like, oh, I started looking at what the earliest mass times here are. And a lot of them are like 7:30, 8 o'clock or whatever. So I'm like, oh, man, might not be able to do that. But if there was like a mass at like 6 a.m. or something that can happen like that, I feel the drive to, wake up early to go partake, especially if it's a TL.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I completely agree with that. It should all be the same. And it's kind of the point of being Catholic. It's a universal liturgy all over the world, no matter culture.
But also one thing I do want to say, I don't know, maybe if you want to move on to another topic, but one thing I do want to say is like, I feel like the intentions of the Novus Ordo are good. I don't know if the results of the changes at Vatican II are desired. I don't like, maybe we have more parishioners. I don't know if that's true. We have more people attending mass regularly. I don't know if that's true, but at the end of the day, like those are the intentions of the Novus Ordo and all the changes was like, We want
You're
okay.
saying your perception is that there's more people that go to church now ever since the Novus Ordo?
No, I'm saying that the intention to change the mass
Oh yeah, that was the
was
intention, is to have more
yeah. I
people
think
come.
the intention was good. I don't know if the actual effect
Hmm.
of that act was what we expected.
Yeah.
Um, but I I do really like that intention of like opening up the mass to like vernacular peoples. Like hopefully more people can understand, and then from there, like you're opening up the possibility of like inviting even non-Catholics to like come. Because then, dude, I just can't see myself inviting a non-Catholic to a TLM. Like it just doesn't seem like any realm of like possibility of like, oh, this is something that I think that they will convert to
Yeah.
Catholicism based off of this.
I wonder
You know?
if we it like in this scenario I'm thinking of, if we ever went back to like TLM, but also because there's the the first part of the TLM is for everybody, and then once it gets to the Eucharist, if you're not Catholic,
Yeah.
like you get nicely asked, like, hey, like this is about to happen, like now you can leave. If you wanna partake in this and you want to see what's going on here,
Mhm.
like then you could become a Catholic, like you become Catholic, and you could see that. But I don't know. I think it would create this longing for people, or at least this curiosity. Going back to
Yeah,
this
yeah,
curiosity thing that I think the TLM provokes, is like I think it provokes a lot of curiosity.
yeah. But I guess it's up to the human will to act
Hmm.
on that curiosity. You know, we can ignore it or we can consciously choose to explore it.
Yeah, yeah. But all right, let's what's next? Salvation.
Hey, did you have anything else you wanted to talk about for the TLM?
Uh, no. I mean, did you have any questions that are like other thoughts that you remember from when you went,
Dude, not so much questions, but
or
I
just
think
like
definitely
thoughts? Yeah,
something else will come up if I go again when I go again
yeah.
with you
Uh huh.
probably this summer. We should go this summer though because I don't have school
Yeah.
like to teach on Sundays
Mm-hmm.
because the kids are off.
Yeah.
So I'd definitely have more time to go this summer
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I feel like by the end of the summer you're gonna get your own missile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm excited, dude. I'm hoping
And I
more.
also want to take my girlfriend.
Yeah. Yeah. Has she ever
Never been to the
TLM?
TLM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd
I
be
want her
interesting to
to.
see what her reactions are, opinions, or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, yeah,
I told her
because it is a culture shock.
I was like, you probably have to wear a veil too. She was like, what? What is that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, the veil thing is a huge, like if you're a feminist, and
Yeah.
and it's a thing. It's a thing. So, which I have also been thinking about it. Like, why do you think women have to wear veils?
Well, why do I think?
Yeah.
Dude, I think it's like I s- I watched some videos on it, so it might not be like my opinion, but now that I have that opinion, I agree.
Hmm.
Like some women were talking about it and they were saying like God made women beautiful. And when we come to mass, like
And not just beautiful, but
yeah,
like,
like gorgeous,
yeah, like
right?
the beauty. Like,
And when we come to mass, like we don't want to draw our attention to ourselves
hmm,
because like the attention should be like on the altar.
hmm,
And so one way of like not like humiliating ourselves, but like humbling ourselves
humbling. Yeah.
is like wearing a veil to basically like accept that recognition
Hmm.
or like or recognize that like dude, I'm not like I'm wearing like because they're probably wearing like these beautiful like dresses and
Yeah.
as a way of like showing their modesty and their respect to God.
Hmm.
But in a way, wearing veils are also like very like that
Yeah.
their way to like humble themselves and have other people like focus on the liturgy only.
Hmm.
But also, I also saw this video. Someone was saying like, yeah, in the sacred areas, like we usually like veil
Oh yeah.
precious things.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up. Yeah.
Like before the mass under the TLM, like the all the chalices and stuff are all veiled
Yeah.
until the point that they're used,
Hmm. The
and also the
tabernacle.
tabernacle
Yeah.
is veiled.
Yeah.
and among other things
Yeah.
that I don't remember. My
The
head.
Ark of the Covenant was veiled.
Yeah.
And like even in ancient times, if you were to go into the Holy of Holies,
Mhm.
you have to be a specific person, and even then, it's still veiled.
Yeah. And so because women are like seen as like a source of life,
Yeah.
and because like life is so precious,
Mm-hmm.
we
Yeah, it
should
reminds
we should
like it seems like the people, especially women, take that as like a demotion, like, oh, you're just putting us down or whatever.
yeah
But I think it's like we're comparing it to how we veiled like the most precious
yeah
things, and that's the thing. That's what we're trying to tell you is that you are like such a precious thing,
right
and it is putting you back up on that pedestal of like, hey, like you are very, very important as a woman.
yeah
Like you can do things that I as a man, like
dude
there's
yeah
it's impossible. Like
like they're the source of life,
hmm
you know.
yeah,
So which all of that stuff, like I agree,
yeah,
you know, like I've read, I'm like, dude, this makes sense to me, and I
yeah.
definitely agree with it.
And you think about like the Virgin Mary, the Virgin Mary is never like they're never ever pictured without her veil.
hmm she's she's too beautiful for us, man. I've seen so many things about like Virgin Mary. Like some guy was like an atheist, and then he had a vision, and he saw the Virgin Mary, and he instantly converted. He was like, dude, this is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, like with
Dude,
my
I think
eyes.
like I'm increasingly having this like conviction and thought and just faith that the Virgin Mary is going to be the one that converts most of humanity,
Oh, really?
especially Islamic people.
Yeah, that's crazy. We'll
Because I
see.
mean, ever since the crucifixion, the main apparitions that have happened
Yeah.
have all been the Virgin Mary.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, man. Other topics.
Oh,
Anything else you didn't need?
no, I'm good. We
Yeah.
could talk about the TLM for hours, dude. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Next one, I mean, you want to talk about salvation?
Salvation. Yeah. Dude, so last time you brought up like like you're not saved unless you believe in Jesus. What do you think about that? Do you believe that's true? Like that's true? Like
Well, it's like if you're mature, like it's when you come to the point of reason. Once you are at the point of reason and you're not
mhm,
ignorant, like you get told about Jesus
mhm.
and you reject Jesus, then that's when I believe you don't get saved.
Yeah.
But if you're like go through life and you never got like no one told you about Jesus and no
Right.
one
Then
told you
you're
about any of this stuff, or you die as a child
yeah.
before like learning about all this stuff, like I think there's grace all over, man. But if you're at the point of reason and you like consciously like reject Jesus, I think that's when you will be damned.
I don't know. I don't know if I too much agree.
Mm-hmm.
Like like I feel like churches teaching maybe I haven't looked far enough, but I feel like some churches teaching is kind of black and white on this.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen bishops like Bishop Barron mention,
Oh, that love Bishop Barron. I mean, recently he's been. This is actually a great topic for like
yeah.
because I recently saw a video of him in an interview with Ben Shapiro. Yeah,
I need to watch that, dude.
yeah.
I saw that too. But yeah, Bishop Barron said that salvation can be found through other religions,
Mm-hmm.
like outside the church, and not even outside of like Christianity. He
Yeah,
said that.
but that comes from Vatican II.
Right.
Like all that teaching is all from Vatican II. It's not, like none of it. Like anyone before Vatican II had no like it was all black and white. Like nah, salvation outside the church is just not possible.
So do you hold truth by like that belief, or do you
Oh
agree by like
like my true like conviction on this is that I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know. I believe that um, within the church there's salvation, but from outside all I could do is hope.
hmm Yeah. I
Like
think
I hope a lot more people get saved.
I agree. Like I think it's hard for humanity to speak about that, on like a certain level.
Hmm.
Like I can't speak with like 100% certainty ever about salvation.
Yeah.
Because like, I mean, that at the end of the day, it's between like that soul and God,
Hmm.
you know? But I don't think that God created souls. I don't think that God created souls with the intention that this soul is going to be damned.
Hmm.
I don't think that also, I don't think that God created souls with a very small possibility that this soul will be saved and a very high probability that this soul will be damned. Like, I think God created souls. He definitely created varying levels of like, I guess like percent likelihood that this person will be saved. But like those levels vary. But I do not believe that a loving, like all powerful, all good God would create a soul with like a very low chance of being saved. And like by extension of that, like I do think that like dude, if I'm born into a Jewish family and like dude, my entire country is like a Jewish country. Like sorry, they don't have a there's not like a real example right now, but like
Israel is a Jewish
yeah,
country.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But like if it okay, Israel's kind of a mess. But like okay, if I'm like born into like Iran, like
Oh, in Iran, yeah.
and if I'm like a Muslim,
Yeah.
you know, and everything I know all my life is like the Muslim religion,
Hmm.
and like I become like a Muslim like teacher or whatever. I
Hmm.
don't know what their religious leaders are.
Hmm.
Dude, like I'm just following like the effects of my environment. I'm following the effects of my family. I'm following the effects of like, you know, my entire culture. Like you could argue that like me and you are doing the same thing, you know, with
Hmm.
like, cause we're both born into Catholic families,
Yeah.
you know? Like if we look back, like, dude, what if Islam was like the true religion?
Hmm.
Like, dude, I know about Islam,
Yeah.
but like for me right now, like it would be so hard for someone to convert me into like the Islamic religion.
Yeah.
And then like, same way with them, like if they're like a Muslim, like almost like a Muslim priest, whatever
Hmm.
their priest level is. Like, dude, it's just, all I see from like an outside perspective is like a soul who is trying their hardest to follow their conscience.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that when God looks and evaluates that scenario, God would maybe choose to like save that person because at the end of the day, like they're following their conscience and God can't control the way that their conscience is formed because like you know like God formed my conscience to be like a Catholic or like sorry, God didn't form my conscience. My conscience was formed out of the effects of like my environment and my upbringing to be a Catholic.
But because of God, though.
Well, yeah,
He
yeah.
didn't. Yeah.
But then these people, like, their conscience was formed to be a Muslim,
Hmm.
you know, and I feel like as humans, we're always called to follow our conscience. And to them, like being a Catholic is like going against their conscience,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think when God evaluates that kind of scenario, there's obviously like Bishop Barron talks about this, but there's some level of like varying degrees of goodness in all different religions, and like if we're saying that like God is good, like God is the ultimate source of goodness,
Yeah.
then like ultimately, you know, some of these people are choosing, you know, like they're choosing God through like lesser degrees, obviously, of God, but they're choosing God in a way by following their conscience.
Hmm.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the thing with that, it's like it's kind of like relativism, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you have a conversation with a Muslim and you give him the like, let's say from a Catholic perspective, if you just tell him like, hey, you're following your conscience, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
cool, man. Like you don't have to become a Catholic.
right,
Like I don't think that's just.
right,
Like I think in those situations, like as a Catholic, you should try to show him the way and be open to his arguments, because obviously, it's the same way that whenever you try to it's a marketplace of ideas, right? The best idea or the best like the truth is supposed to come to the top, the cream of the crop, right? But if you just go around the world telling everybody that, hey, You know, you're whatever you believe. That's good, man.
Yeah.
Sure, sure. Like, I think that's kind of what has been the world state for the past 70 years or so, and I don't think it's helped. You know,
Yeah.
before, if you as a Catholic had convictions and knew how to speak on your faith and like in a respectful way, like I think you should be allowed to do that without being like mean. You know, like, I don't think it's necessary to be mean,
Hmm.
I, at all. Um, but I think it is necessary to be convicted in your faith
Yeah.
and accept that someone else is going to be convicted in it as well, and talk about it. And as far as like salvation, if like, because the church teaching is like before Vatican II is like there's no salvation outside the church, then like I think it should be conveyed that, hey, I care, especially if it's a friend. Like I not only care about you, like I truly love you, dude.
Hmm.
Like I want you to be saved for real. So let's talk about it. Let's just talk about it. If it gets weird or whatever, then okay. But and I want to try. I want to try, and I assume that you want me to be saved as well. So tell me your perspective.
Yeah.
Let me know like why you believe what you believe. I think that like if we could just have these thoughtful disagreements without it getting
Yeah.
like too emotional or whatever, I think that's better than it's like let's agree to disagree.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't know. I just think sometimes it's like I don't know how we got to this point, but it just seems to me like we've gone so far from even having like a possibility of that nowadays. Because
Possibility of having a good conversation.
yeah, and like that being like something that that being like a source of good in terms of like dude, what like let's say I'm someone like not even having this conversation yet, but like I'm thinking about approaching someone to have this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I have all these fears and trepidations, like, oh, I don't want to feel like I'm too much like imposing my faith and stuff like that. But also it's like
It's like, how would you talk to a Protestant?
I would just ask them questions.
Yes, but would you
You
say
know?
that, hey, like you do you, man? Like you don't have to be a part of the Catholic Church.
No, I guess my initial response was too much like on the macro level. Like I was thinking more in terms of like, dude, if the Pope went to like Iran
Yeah.
and tried to talk to like the Shia or the Sunni Muslim Shia Muslim leader, like I don't think that would go well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I guess that's my initial like gut feeling about it. But I definitely think like in like friendly circles, talking about it is definitely like it's pretty easy. Like it
Yeah.
could come up. I'm not saying it's easy, but like it's definitely something that like less scary to do.
Yeah.
You know, but I just feel like nowadays in the whole world, it's like man, like on a macro scale, like dude, talking about religion and trying to like get an understanding how these people, it just turns into violence,
Mm-hmm.
and then violence is like turns into war, and like and I think like the Holy See has been erring towards like like dude, our our whole world is like on the borderline of like war right now,
Mm-hmm.
and we're walking a very thin line. Like instead of adding to that fire, like adding to that fuel of like animosity and like disagreement, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
Holy See has been erring on the side of unity and peace. And I think, I mean, I think in times of like I trust them, and I genuinely do, and like I trust their decisions, and like I trust the I pretty much like I trust their whole process of like what they're like. I see it as a chess game, man. Like I see it as a chess game, and right now we're playing defensively.
Politics or what?
No, like like world religion.
Mm-hmm.
I see it as a chess game. Like, and right now it's time for us to play defensively. Like at the end of the day, like we can go out there, we can take risks, like we can like try to evangelize, like like have these tough conversations and like maybe open up like these wars. But like at the moment, I think the Holy See has been erring on the side of like, dude, let's just like chill out and like promote like peace and choose like the lesser of the evils, which is like, maybe we're not promoting the truth, but like we have world peace, you know?
Yeah. I mean, because what he's doing though is it's not for the sake of peace. It's for the sake of
What do you mean by what he's doing?
like he's giving the Christian perspective of world events, and through
Oh,
that
the
Christian
Pope?
perspective, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the Christianity is peace. Like that's kind of like our gospel, right? Like the golden rule is treat everybody else like how you want to be treated, Which goes back to I actually didn't. Oh yeah, I did write this down. It's like what do you think the errors are of other religions? Like why are those religions bad? Are those religions bad?
Mm, I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't study like a lot of the other religions. I just
Hmm.
mainly know like we have. I think like talking about like stuff like Hinduism. Like, dude, it's just kind of like outdated. Like, it's a product of like growing technology and like us realizing that like all of these things are like wrong.
Hmm.
Because I think they believed in like the god of like rain and like stuff like that. Like it was all based off of like how can we like they back then it was like religion was like their way of explaining the world,
Hmm.
and then as we've come to a better understanding of the world, we don't use religion as a tool to explain it anymore.
Hmm.
Like they would always explain like the seasonal rains and stuff like that based off of like crops that they needed to survive. Like they didn't know there's the whole science behind that of like the globe rotating and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, So I think in those religions, man, like I think they're definitely outdated, and it's gonna be tough to like follow that and explain that nowadays. And so those kind of just like fall out of truth based off of science. Um, and like if you have a like a logical reasoning, then like you can like kind of like debunk most of like those kind of like religious beliefs.
Hmm.
Only other religion that I've really other studied outside of Christianity is maybe like Judaism, because I mean they're just like a direct, like a path at 33 AD. Like you took path one or path two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like they're like the path one. Like they remained, on that path. So I mean, I don't want to go too much detail about that, but like it's pretty obvious how why we think they're not true, because like I mean they reject the true Messiah and they're waiting for their own Messiah.
Hmm.
And it's like
It's true rejection of Christ.
yeah,
Yeah.
is
And the thing is, like, once you get into that, then it gets really. That's when it gets really emotional for people
hmm
because it's a. I mean, yeah, yeah. That type of conversation is the type of stuff that gets you canceled and thrown in
dude,
jail.
yeah.
Though. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, imagine that not being able to kind of call evil out in its face, because there are some dire consequences for doing that. You lose your job. I mean, stuff like that bring a lot of inconvenience into your life.
hmm
But yeah, and then like Islam is like a few centuries after all that happened.
Yeah.
So it's not like that's like the newest type religion, I think.
It's around 900, I
That's
think.
yeah, 900, 700, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Think it was like mainly Muhammad had like a vision or like a prophecy that he.
Yeah, I think they think the angel Gabriel, similar to how he came did the Annunciation with Mary, he did something similar with Muhammad. In the here's let me tell you the truth,
Mhm.
and go out and say this truth or whatever. Like, I think from the Catholic perspective is that whatever came about Muhammad is definitely not an angel; it was a demon. But but yeah, I digress. I similar like you. It's not like I study these other
Yeah.
religions. I just know that like their shortcomings, and I'm sure vice versa, they do the same thing with us. But that's why I want to know more about like what we do and what we're about,
Hmm.
like why we are the truth, and then from that foundation be able to, like you said, be on the defense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wonder what Islam said about Jesus.
Oh,
Do you think?
they think Jesus was a perfect man, but they just don't believe he's God.
Yeah. So then,
And then, which is like kind of wild because you think Islam was like, oh, they hate Christians or whatever, but they like Jesus. At the very least, they hold a strong belief that Jesus was a perfect man and a prophet. And then Mary is also super big for them. And then on contrast with like with Judaism, they don't have the similar belief of Jesus. They think he was a really bad person.
so I think I've saw this, but like, I think their way of salvation is like just following the Quran and being a good person. Um,
Follow and submit yourself to God. Yeah, pray at a
mhm.
specific time every day.
Yeah.
Um, pointed at Mecca. Yeah, dude. I was telling Vusal this. Like, we should get together with Vusal.
Yeah, dude, that'd be
Yeah,
awesome. I
yeah,
was gonna say cut. So if I don't know if you wanted to like
yeah.
drop anyone, but I I, I was gonna ask you like, did you guys get a chance to talk about this on this podcast
A little bit,
a
yeah,
little bit?
a little bit, yeah, yeah. Because he also confirmed that Jesus is like in high regard in Islam and the Virgin Mary and all that. But what he was fascinated about is like how like intertwined like scientific discoveries like go with the Quran and all that. Like it gives him more of a base, of a foundation
Yeah.
of a perspective of the world. So that was super interesting. But if he comes on again, like that'd be a super like interesting topic to start poking around with
Mm-hmm.
him and like anyone else. Like I don't think I know anyone who practices Judaism, but and like I'd love to have someone like that on. Someone who believes in Hindu. Do we know anybody who believes in Hinduism? I don't know any Buddhist. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
yeah,
I think those religions have some shred of good though. You know.
yeah. That's kind of so the obfuscation of what the new world order is trying to turn religion into is that there is like aspects of true out of all these religions. So if you could just navigate through all that, and that's how you become a good person. But
Mm-hmm.
then that just diminishes what are your convictions. And so if you could be saved outside of the Catholic Church, then like why are you Catholic?
Yeah, like why do you need to be Catholic?
Yeah, why do you do all this stuff? Why do you like partake in the sacraments and all that?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I mean, I would say like it's just like
If everything's special, then nothing's special.
right. I mean, then I'll just say like salvation is not guaranteed, and
But the thing is that even if you're within the church, salvation isn't guaranteed.
right. But then I would argue that like through the graces of the church, like we preach that we're like the fullness of the truth,
Yeah.
and in order to like have the highest chance of salvation, I would participate in like the religion that practices the fullness of the truth
Mm-hmm.
and has so many opportunities to provide graces, which I know like graces is the source of salvation.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the grace of our belief that saves us through our baptism, and it's the grace of the communion, it's the grace of the reconciliation, and all of those things. Like those are the actual like sources that give us our salvation. Um, and like yeah, man, I could be a Protestant, but I feel like that would just well now it's like it's tough because like now that my conscience is formed the way it is, like I'd have to consciously through like logical processes like convert out of Catholicism and like be a Protestant because like I mean I feel like once you have a conscience like you're held accountable to it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and like you like whatever like you have to follow that. Um, so if one day I want to be lazy and I'm like yeah man like salvation I can get it if I'm a Baptist or like if I'm a Presbyterian or like,
Yeah.
let
Have
me just
faith
go
in
do that
Christ.
because it's easier. Because they don't tell me that I have to go to mass every Sunday. You know,
Yeah.
they don't tell me I have to.
It's not dogma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let me just do that then, and then get my salvation. But it's like, dude, I have all this conscience now, so I can't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of my thought. Is like, I don't. It's a very tough argument. That's a very good question. It's like, why do I need to be Catholic then?
Yeah.
But I would just say like the fullness of truth, the graces,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and also like Catholics, like the church always has answers for everything. You know,
Yeah.
like you look anywhere else, like I don't think you can find concrete answers for things that like that everyone holds to be true. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like the Catholic Church just has so much truth that is universally believed and taught. Yeah, and like other religions, like there's local truths, but no like universal as truth. Yeah, think about that.
Salvation's tough, man. Salvation's tough. Next on the docket is Genesis 3:15.
Oh yeah, tell me about it,
let me show you.
dude. Also, it's kind of chilly in here. Are you cold?
Oh.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, especially like once I start smoking and that thing starts blowing harder. That's when I really start. And you're in shorts. Oh man.
How cold was it in here?
68.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Dewey Rames. Oh yeah, let's talk about the Dewey Rames as well. So Genesis 3:15.
Yeah.
I just want you to read it and then we'll talk about it. The pages is like so thin that I'm always afraid I'm gonna like rip them.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Does it feel like the missile? Kind of.
Oh, the missile. Yeah, same. It's also very thin pages. Here's Genesis 3:15 on the very Rams.
Genesis 3:15.
Mm-hmm.
How far do you want me to read to?
Just 3:15. Just
I will put enmities
enmity.
between thee and the woman, and thy seed and her seed. She shall crush thy head, and thou shalt lie in wait for her heel.
Who do you think they're referring to right there?
Adam and Eve.
Her seed, Jesus Christ. Through Jesus, Mary will crush your head. Satan said.
Oh, I'm reading the breakdown at the bottom. She shall crush the woman. So divers of the fathers read this place conformably to the Latin. Others read it ipsum, the seed. The sense is the same, for it is by her seed, Jesus Christ, that the woman crushes the serpent's head.
Now, this is also a Catholic Bible. This is the NRSV version of the Bible. That's the Dewey Rames. And that's also the Dewey Rames. But now read 3:15 on this one.
I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will strike your head, and you will strike his heel.
What was the biggest difference that you saw in that one?
It's like he versus she will strike your head,
Yeah.
and you will strike his heel.
Yeah. That's a very contentious passage amongst all Christians.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because that, Catholics historically have used that passage to justify or like to also explain why Mary is so important.
Mhm.
Like that like throughout the Bible, she's all over the Bible, and then even from the beginning, she like God had a plan for her.
Mhm. Wait,
But
why are there two different translations for the same verse, though?
exactly,
Aren't we?
because if you look at the Hebrew
Yeah.
people argue that the translation is either he or it. But the reason that in the Dewey Rames it says she is because Saint Jerome, who was one of the church fathers, he did a translation of the Greek and Hebrew into what's called the Vulgate. The Vulgate is the church's translation of the Bible, like for everybody, which is all in Latin. And in Latin, he translated the Hebrew to Latin for the Latin to say she instead of he. And so ever since then, there's been this back and forth about that one passage, because there's a lot of make or break type stuff that happens through that single passage there. But yeah, I just found that super interesting, and that is a very distinct difference in translation for different Bibles.
But what's the official church ruling on that?
That even within the church, there's a lot of back and forth. Historically, it has been she, but recently, like by recent I mean like Vatican II type, Catholics have been coming out with translation of he.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's like we're changing a little bit of
That's weird.
yeah.
Shouldn't be doing that. That's weird.
Yeah, well, I mean, because you can make the argument that Saint Jerome we can't go off of like the translation of Saint Jerome if the original
It's
text
Latin.
is Hebrew.
Oh,
It's Hebrew, and if the original text is he, then why are we changing that to she?
yeah.
Yeah, so like the burden of evidence, I think, falls on Catholics to say like, okay, but why she? You know, there's this. I'll send you this one clip where a theologian from Studentville talks to Pints with Aquinas and like addresses that same issue. Actually, I'll look it up right now. Yeah, before we get into Genesis 6, because that's another one. Dude, I have so many Bibles. But yeah, so like that. Talk about reading your Bible, man. Like that's a very interesting like
Yeah.
difference.
Oh, for
Very
sure.
interesting difference. Because if it is she, then there's a very clear correlation that there's this prefigurement of not just Jesus, because obviously it's talking about Jesus too, but it's also including Mary in that, and kind of with the whole Catholic thing is that Jesus is the new Adam, where Mary is the new Eve.
Yeah.
Genesis 3:15. Probably won't find it. I'll show it to you later. But
Mm-hmm.
oh, here we go. John Bergsma. Pints with Aquinas. John Bergs.
Oh, I just read the whole thing about salvation.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What does it say?
Kind of says like the same things.
What
Like,
thing?
God condemns no man except for grave sin. Therefore, he will not condemn those who, through no fault of their own, are unaware of his command to belong to the true church, provided they serve him faithfully according to their own conscience, have a sincere desire to do his will in all things, and therefore implicitly wish to become members of his church. They are members of his church in desire.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it is possible for those outside the church to be saved should not make us lose sight of the great disadvantages they are under. As compared with Catholics who live in the full light of the divine revelation, such persons have not the infallible church to guide them in what they are to believe and do in order to serve God. They live a life without the sacraments, Holy Mass, Holy Communion, and the other countless sources of grace which the church supplies for the sanctification of its children. Those professed Catholics who are members of the body of the visible church. That makes sense.
That's a pretty. Yeah. Basically, I like it. Likes it a lot. All right, here we go.
There are Catholics who would say you ought only to read the Douay Rheims version of the Bible. Why is it do you think we're hearing about this more, and what's your opinion of it?
Hearing about the Douay Rheims more?
Yeah, I think I'm encountering more people who are like, if you're not reading the Douay Rheims, you're not doing it right.
Right, yeah. Well, the Douay Rheims is nice, and my personal devotional New Testament is actually a form of the Douay Rheims. This is the old Confraternity edition, which is an updating of the Douay Rheims, and I like it very much, and that's what I use for devotional reading. So nothing wrong with the Douay Rheims. The Douay Rheims is an English translation of the Vulgate. So, props to St. Jerome. We all love St. Jerome.
Yep.
And the Latin Vulgate is still the liturgical tradition of the liturgical translation of the Latin Rite. So it is kind of like our home base as Latin Rite Christians is the Vulgate. So the Vulgate we should carry respect in the Catholic Church, and we should always be aware of how Saint Jerome rendered things, and that has become part of our tradition. For example, there's confusion in the Hebrew of Genesis 3:15, right? And Saint Jerome took it that she shall crush the head of the serpent, and that's been the inspiration for a lot of our liturgical art. So we should be aware of that, and I think that that regardless of how the Hebrew works out, that's just theologically true. You know, she crushes the head of the serpent, whether by herself or through her son. Nonetheless, she's ultimately responsible for that. So you know, the Vulgate's great. I think we should be aware of it, and I think that when we have a translational option, we should move in the direction of how Saint Jerome took it, because he's kind of an authoritative representative of the tradition. At the same time, you know, statements from the popes, Divino Afflante Spiritu in 1943, Proventismus Deus back in 1893 from Leo XIII, as well as De Verbum itself from the Vatican Council. All of those documents encourage us to look at the original language of Scripture. So, as good as St. Jerome is, St. Jerome's Latin translation does not outrank Moses' Hebrew or St. Paul's Greek. So, there is always value to going back to the Hebrew of Isaiah and the Greek of John or the Greek of Matthew, etc. They're saints too. St. Jerome's not the only saint, you know. So seeing what they wrote in their original language, then of course taking into account how Jerome rendered it into Latin, and then the Douay Rheims is an English version of the Latin. So Douay Rheims is great for devotional reading, but it's not as it were some like an ultimate authority on Scripture. I think that the authors of Scripture themselves.
Yeah. So that's kind of the whole debacle with all that, but yeah, dude.
I
It's
agree.
kind of interesting, right?
Yeah. I'd like to look into some other nuances that could come across based off of those translations.
Yeah. Yeah, translations are huge. Huge. The other thing I wanted to talk about was Sedevacantism.
What is that?
It's the sect of Catholics that believe in the infallibility of the Pope, but do not believe that there has been a valid Pope post-Vatican II.
So basically like the SSPX, kind of?
No, but SSPX is not Sedevacantism. They actually they're like, no, Sedevacantism is bad. It's like it's almost evil at this point.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that, and the reason I think I thought about it is because you were saying that how do we keep priests like accountable if they say the exact words that they're supposed to say and all that stuff, and the thing is that the church cannot lead you to a bad outcome. So like if you believe that that's the real presence and like you're Catholic and like the whole thing, then it is like it is. Like one of so I barely know any of this stuff, but I started touching on it. Their belief is that one of the things that Vatican II did is change the whole formula of how bishops get consecrated.
Mm-hmm.
Like they changed the whole formula to where it's like now Christian Orthodoxy, they have more of a valid, like a very, not valid, but like clear distinction and lineage of apostolic succession. Whereas once the Catholic Church changed that whole, the recipe, if you will, that it started to obfuscate like how we can claim apostolic succession if some of the bishops were not ordained like correctly. So they're trying to make the case that like since the bishops, like none of the bishops have been ordained correctly, like there's a huge scandal right now because we barely have any bishops that were ordained the proper and the correct way that has direct apostolic succession from the fathers. So then there's a good amount of Catholics that fall to that type of thinking. And the thing is, like, there's a lot of I mean, they make a lot of good points because there's a lot of bad stuff that, especially like with the whole pedophile stuff, like that's when they really got loud.
Mm-hmm.
And that like this, obviously like there's some bad stuff that happened. There's some famous like Sedevacantist that he's not explicit about it, but he kind of goes that way a little bit, and that's like Mel Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
You know how he made the Passion of the Christ, and
yeah.
like he's a very outspoken Catholic, but he makes these distinctions that, like, back when I believe when Pope John the 23rd got elected, before, like, during that conclave, the chimney, it came out with white smoke, but then after it came out with white smoke, you assume that they would come present the Pope, but they never did. The thing that happened next is black smoke came out after white smoke came out. So it's like the Sedevacantists believed that a Pope was elected, but something happened in the conclave where they're like, no, that's not going to happen. We're going to elect someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So they voted again and then ended up with a different Pope. But, like, never in the history of the Catholic Church has that ever happened in which they elect someone, white smoke, and then immediately it's like, oh, sorry, we're voting for someone else.
So black smoke usually means sorry. Black
That
smoke usually means we didn't find anyone or we didn't vote for someone yet.
yeah, we didn't get a consensus.
So what happened after the black smoke? Did they do white smoke again?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was
white
their
smoke,
decision.
black smoke, then white smoke. Yeah.
And that's never happened before.
No. But the thing is that, like, the church has always gone through, like, tribulations like that where there's obfuscations, and, like, there was a point in time when there was, like, 2 popes that
Yeah.
were running around, and, like, no one knew who the true pope was, and there was this huge, like, argument within the Catholic Church as to who the true pope is. And I think, like, one of them, like, one of the saints was, like, Saint Catherine of Siena, that was like, no, this is the true pope. And then some father or, like, bishop was like, no, this is the true pope. So now you have, like, a lady going against a bishop trying to say,
Yeah.
no, these are different popes. But then eventually she became a saint. So it's like there's deep, deep history, dude. Deep, deep history. Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. That sounds like they're trying to, like, do things similar to, like, kind of like what they do in, like, annulments.
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, they're looking into, like, these almost like these like minute details and, like, these very fine, like, fine printing, like, technicalities almost, just, like, trying to, like, make noise about why they believe, like, Vatican, like, that's my, like, gut opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, dude, we don't like Vatican II. What is something that we can do to legitimately make an argument for why Vatican II was bad and, like, sway people that way?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and, like, it's just looking at like the intricacies of, like, why, like, the technicalities behind, like, why this bishop is, like, not, like, a valid bishop or,
Yeah.
like, sorry, valid pope.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. It's just thinking, my gut reaction is, like, thinking back to, like, annulment stuff is like, dude, the night you get married and, like, the night you, like, you know, like, you're in, like, a happy marriage, like, you don't have in the back of your mind, like, dude, was that marriage valid? You know what I mean? And it's just like, and it's only when you don't feel like it's only when, like, you almost, like, want a divorce,
Yeah.
when you look back and you think, like, how can I get an annulment out of this?
Yeah.
You know, that almost seems like what they're kind of doing with their leadership and their direction is, like,
The Sedevacantists, well, they don't have any leadership.
right.
I mean, there are a lot of little churches like that. They pretend that they're Catholic and whatever, but they're Sedevacantists like that. There's different popes out there
Mm-hmm.
that they believe that that's the real pope and all that stuff. Like that's real.
That's crazy.
There's a church here in Austin that claims they're Catholic but don't believe that that's the pope.
Which church?
Dude, I
What do
they
you
even
think,
have it on their website that, hey,
what do you
we
think about this idea and everything? Like,
Sedevacantism?
yeah,
I think I reject it. Like that's
yeah.
bad. Very, very bad. And it makes like traditionalists look bad because it's like, no. Like that's very, like, going back to the church cannot fault, like it's not going to lead you in a bad direction. Like
No,
the positive faith is,
I agree with that. The church is never going to be, like, that far misled.
mm-hmm. It's called Catholic Church.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, let me see where this is at. Wait, have I been to this mass?
I doubt it. Look, it says right here, interested in learning more about independent Catholicism? Yeah, so if you go to their website, they're like, these videos contain an introduction to the sad history of
Dude.
division in the church.
Why do you start off your website with that, bro? That's so weird.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Orthodox Church, okay. I don't know, man. That's really weird. I wonder if I go if it's a valid mass.
There? No, it's definitely not a valid mass. But hey, like, look at their bulletins.
Dude, it seems like a legit. All things aside, like it seems like a legit church.
Yeah, like their bulletin has the Pope on it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm starting to see some things.
Yeah.
Look, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh wow, yeah.
A member of the
I didn't even realize that.
A member of the Association of Roman Catholic Women Priests.
Oh man.
For over 10 years. She was ordained a priest on May 15th.
Wow.
By Bishop Bridget Mary Maheen. So they have a bishop.
They have a woman bishop. Wow.
Dude, it's actually crazy. I kind of want to go to their mass to see like how it is.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of people following them too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, man, that's kind of sad. I'm not gonna lie. And they still call themselves Catholic too. That's such a heresy. I wonder what other like what actual beliefs that they have differently besides just like the whole magisterium.
Well, obviously they don't believe in apostolic succession or holy orders or like, because who's giving them holy orders?
Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I would like to learn more about this. So they are like, you said that. Sorry, what was the word that you used? Like a Latin word, I think, for like
Anathema.
this sect of.
Oh, Sedevacantists.
Yeah, so they are that order.
No, I don't know if they're Well, I don't know. They have the Pope on their bulletin, so I don't know if, because Sedevacantists just basically means that because when a Pope dies, that period when a Pope dies and a new Pope gets elected,
It's like a.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, during that period, up until the moment when we have a new Pope, like since the Pope died and we haven't elected a Pope, that period is called Sedevacantis. Sedevacante or something like that, which basically means no Pope or something. There's no Pope. Like, we don't have a Pope.
Yeah.
We don't have a Pope during this time because he's dead and we haven't elected one yet.
Yeah, and that's what their whole belief. Okay, dude, it makes more sense now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw they quoted like Bible verses, and they were like, if you would like to see how these ideas are celebrated in a Catholic tradition, please come to our church. That was their whole pitch.
Yeah.
They quoted like some verses, and like.
I wonder if they try to attempt a TLM there, or if it's like a Novus Ordo type.
Dude, we should go one day.
Yeah.
We should go to like the 10:30 mass.
Yeah.
And then after that, we should go to the TLM.
Yeah.
And we could talk about it on the way there. Dude, that'd be cool. Because they have a mass at 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be down for that, honestly.
I'd be down.
I'm not going to touch no sacraments but I'd be down to come at least see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's very interesting, dude. But yeah, just talking about that whole idea, man, and then I guess going into like the SSPX.
Oh yeah, SSPX.
I really do. I don't know. I keep thinking about it. I'm like, man, like I really hope that I know they're probably going to at this point, but like I don't want them to like ordain more bishops.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't like church division.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, like I want church unity.
Yeah.
Like the last thing we need right now is like we're fighting for like world peace.
Yeah.
The last thing we need right now is like internal schism.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like guys, just please stay in communion with Rome.
Mm-hmm.
And like I feel like some of their arguments and their beliefs are like definitely valid about like the Novus Ordo. But at the end of the day, I want to genuinely say that like I do want to say that like the Holy Spirit, I can see the Holy Spirit like speaking through these popes,
Mm-hmm.
even the ones that are making like these Vatican II ideas.
That are teaching falsehoods. Because like we've had bad popes before, right? Like popes that are just very, very bad. Popes that
Mhm.
got like put in there by kings and stuff, like for political matters. Popes that had orgies inside the
Yeah.
Vatican. Like
That's crazy.
yeah, there's been some bad dudes up on having the papal hat, but they never taught. They never like taught invalid stuff, heresies. They never taught heresies. But Francis like was the first one to start teaching like some very like, yeah, no, this is definitely not within the church teaching of like, let's say, blessing same-sex marriages. Like that was something that they were like pushing hard for. To this day, they're still trying to push hard. Pope Leo with his he's been very like, listen, man, like the church is not here to really bless like that type of stuff. Like that shouldn't be our focus right now. There's there's a war going on right now. Like we really need to focus on like this stuff over here. Like this whole other stuff, like this sexual matter type stuff. Like
Yeah, he said that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, guys, like you guys keep asking me about these sexual things. Like like this is like, dude, that's not the top of my mind at all.
Yeah.
Like that's not the greatest evil that we're facing in today's society.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, the same concept of like I don't think that the Holy Spirit will ever let the church like fall out of heresy.
Mm-hmm.
By that same belief, I think that like Vatican II is valid.
Yeah, and Vatican II is valid.
And that all those teachings, like I genuinely believe is like true.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think that like, you know, the SSPX should conform to that.
Yeah.
Like
The thing is that like there's like Sedevacantism, like they don't see Vatican II as valid, but SSPX does see it as valid. But they also believe that you can't invalidate tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's outside of whatever like a council can do. Like you can't mess with the deposit of faith.
Yeah.
Like you can't fault someone for continuing tradition. And the thing is that have you heard of Archbishop Lefebvre?
No.
So he's the one who started the SSPX after Vatican II happened. And the thing is that he was all about Vatican II initially. Like, hey, yeah, no, let's, like, World War II just happened. Like, this tragedy just happened with the Holocaust.
Yeah.
Like, that we should really,
We need to get together.
we need to get together and, like, start addressing some of this stuff. And then he signed on and was like, yeah, let's do this. But then towards the end, that's when he was like, this is not what I signed up for at all. And because initially when Vatican II first started, they're like, we're not going to touch the liturgy. Like, and we're not doing that. Like, that's not, we're just trying to define these other obscure type things and, you know, open ourselves up to the world a little more so that we can allow more people into the church. And, you know, everybody was all about it. But the thing is that they were doing some like really shady stuff. For example, at Vatican II, they defined that I think if you're 75 years or older, you are forced into retirement and you don't have a say in stuff anymore. And the thing is that all of the traditionalists, they were all over 75 years old. So imagine that in one clean swoop, you remove the vote of the traditionalists.
That's very shady.
And that was like, whoa, wait, what? Like, what? what happened here? So like all these little shady stuff started happening, which made all these bishops like really uncomfortable. Like there are recordings of bishops back at like after Vatican II when they revealed the new liturgy to the bishops for the first time. There's a lot of feedback from all the bishops saying like, this is scary. Like that was the overall sentiment. Like that video that I sent, the documentary of the Latin Mass, the 3-part video or whatever, they have recordings of the bishops talking about like how this is like, what happened. And then Archbishop Lefebvre was like, he decided to make a stand in that, all right, yeah, no, it's valid or whatever, but the TLM is still valid. And we believe it is the fullness of the truth of of whatever. And so they continued the TLM. And to this day, the TLM would not be in existence right now if it wasn't for the SSPX.
Yeah.
If the SSPX didn't exist, if Archbishop Lefebvre didn't like make a stand, like the TLM would have been probably outlawed by now.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that it hasn't been is because like there's a huge sect of Catholics within the there's like 600,000 Catholics within the SSPX that believe in tradition. And before, like, I mean, obviously, like before it was still seen as like, hey, you're going against the church if you're going to a TLM. So that's like, it's like very bad. But recently, obviously now that I'm coming back in, the TLM has grown.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot more people that just didn't know it existed are starting to realize that it exists and have formed a fondness for the TLM. And now it's coming to now a different set, like the FSSP. Have you heard of them? So they came out of the SSPX and formed their own fraternity for the traditional Latin Mass. And now they're a big sect within Catholicism as well. But the thing is that they don't have bishops.
Yeah.
And the reason that Archbishop Lefebvre decided to because when Archbishop Lefebvre consecrated his bishops, it was without papal approval, and that was with John Paul II. And so they got excommunicated. Archbishop Lefebvre got excommunicated, and so did the bishops that he ordained.
Yeah.
It wasn't up until Pope Benedict rescinded that excommunication and allowed them come back into full communion of the Catholic Church. But that's because, I mean, Benedict was a traditionalist. Like, he was more of a conservative type and saw that as a great injustice of what happened.
Yeah.
And so he brought them back in. But then Francis came in.
Kicked them out again?
He didn't excommunicate them, but yeah, he definitely limited a lot of the stuff around them. And now they're bishops. They're bishops right now. They're coming to an old age, and they're afraid that if they don't have bishops, that the evils within the church, like right now, they will stomp out the TLM, and they won't have the possibility of being able to do it anymore if there's no validly consecrated bishops that are there to consecrate new priests. Because like the FSSP, they got consecrated through these bishops as well. Hello? Okay. Sounds good. All right, dog. Anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, you have to go?
Yeah.
We could talk about it some other time.
Yeah.
But wait, sorry. Go back to that last comment that you said about the bishop's consecration and the SSPX and stuff like that.
Yeah. So if Archbishop Lefebvre didn't consecrate his bishops, he wouldn't be able to expand the SSPX
right
all over and maintain tradition all over the world.
But are those bishops valid?
Yes.
So they're approved by the Pope, or?
Yes.
Okay. Which Pope? Benedict?
Benedict.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then Francis, did he approve any?
No new bishops. Well, they've been trying to get new bishops through that, like after Benedict got, because the Benedict thing is also a super interesting thing to get into. Like, did he truly resign, or like,
yeah,
how is that? What? So they saw that as a like, oh, red alert. Now we're getting Francis, who's very against the TLM.
Yeah,
very against the TLM. They started to worry a little bit and started to try to begin a dialogue with the Vatican to consecrate more bishops now that their bishops are getting older, but they never gave them the light of day. And then I think once Pope Leo got elected, since Pope Leo just got into the stride of things, they were afraid that the powers that be within the Vatican were going to also like put the hammer down. So they announced the consecrations like almost immediately after Pope Leo got elected, so that they can force the issue. So it's either, what's going to happen? What if Pope Leo, like at the very end, it's like, all right, you can have 2. I think that'll be a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just accept some of them.
Mm-hmm. Because like, what are they doing wrong outside of that?
Yeah, there's not breaking any like heresy. They're just trying to celebrate a form of mass. But I mean, the only other thing was like, it's not, universal church. Like we should be practicing one liturgy.
Yeah.
But like we said, like, dude, that's not really like I feel like that in and of itself, like, is a very nuanced or like a technicality in like the world issues that we have right now.
Yeah.
Like we should be focusing on other things. Like he said, like AI and like, nuclear war.
Yeah.
And like, just getting the world in like a stable place, like peace, world peace. Those are definitely much more like pertinent topics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's pray for peace, and we'll do this again next time.
Dude, yeah, for sure. I know there's some other things a lot of other things that we should talk about.
Yeah.
Like we didn't even get to talk about like all the popes, like talking about like AI and like slavery,
Oh, yeah.
all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, next time, dude.
Next time.
I know you gotta go.
Yeah. Yeah.